Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me well?
Yes, there
Okay.
was there's a little bit of noise, but it's fine. It's like an ear or something in the back, a fan.
Oh,
I
let me
don't know.
turn, I'll turn that off. Um, Patty, come back.
Come
Y'all
back.
lost, y'all lost face privileges for the rest of the stream.
You look really like, what's the
Put
word I'm looking
together.
for? Put together. Yeah. Like, not that you don't look put together other times, but you look
No,
like,
you don't look put together other times. You look like you cleaned up yourself today.
Give some more compliments. It's making me want to come back on camera.
yeah, come back. Did you have like a job interview or what were you doing?
I, was
I was,
What?
this a date? You said you were going to take that white lady on a date.
yeah, I had a date with a white woman, and usually I date within the community, but I thought I'd dress up and since I'm going outside, you know how it is when you're in the house, so you wear your comfortable clothes,
Yeah.
and then you go outside the house in the real world, so you put on your good clothes.
So why did you stop dating black women now, you said?
I didn't stop.
You said you were only dating white women now.
Where's the record?
You said it. That's all I got.
Mm. Okay. Well, with no evidence, we can't hold that with any level of validity.
All right. Hey, hello, Prince Buddy. You're here is live. So someone literally just said hello to you and forget both K and I. So period. Hey, Sin.
Hi,
Hey,
Cynthia.
Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. Hi,
Hey, two
everybody.
L's. Hey. All right, I was gonna go through and do everyone, but hey, hey, hey. All right. How have you been, Kay?
You know, it this has nothing to do with how I've been, I guess, but like usually my hair is out and I washed my hair the other day, like 2 days ago, and I put it in twists and it just was not working. And like I usually don't come on here with my hair like pulled back and it makes my head look so small. I'm getting used to this whole thing without my hair out. I mean,
You look
but
amazing. I don't know what you're talking about, but
you know, man, I
I
got
didn't
some
notice.
they're
I didn't
looking.
notice anything about like your head being small.
It just seems, I don't know. I'm so used to having my hair out. But no, I've been doing well.
I
Um,
haven't spoken to you all week. I feel like
I
we have,
know,
yeah,
I
that's
know
some
it's been a long
great.
time, right? Last week we were off of work, so that was good. Uh, didn't do too much. Didn't travel or anything like that. Didn't you travel somewhere famous?
I missed my flight.
Uh, what?
I missed my flight home. It was great.
Oh, you missed your flight back home.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like to be paraded by my mother around to my family. So
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
definitely. Patty,
Mhm.
was she fit, feminine, and friendly?
No, I like dominant women.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot. He is looking for a provider.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I actually had something to show you. Patty, are you not gonna come back on the screen for real?
I was just waiting on the compliments. That just makes me feel
Come
confident
back, Petty.
when
Your
my
hair
coworkers,
looks really
when
nice.
my co-host pour compliments into me. That makes me feel
All right,
feel.
let's try to do the compliment barometer. Let's go. Okay, give Petty the compliments that he needs because I ain't see it for him.
Petty, as always, your eyebrows were looking really nice. I'm jealous of them. Also,
Mhm.
your hair was looking pretty nice from what I saw. If you would come back, I could probably give more specific comments. You were only on screen for a short amount of time.
So the compliments were just y'all were making them up. Y'all didn't actually see me.
No, we saw you like as a whole,
You
but
saw a moving blur. A
if you
moving
come back,
blur.
we can see you, and really analyze everything if that's what you want.
Well, thank you, Kay. Famous, go ahead.
I didn't see you, so it is what it is.
Did you catch a glimpse?
I did not catch a glimpse. I didn't see much.
I don't know. I feel like you're lying.
Why would I lie to you? I'm not like I'm not the same. I'm
You
not.
know how those legal people be. Yep.
What?
Legal people speak out the side of their mouth. That's what my mom calls it.
Yeah, period. Did your mama do your hair? Did your mama do your hair?
No, she ran away before I was born, so we don't have a relationship.
How were you born? She ran away from who before you were born?
She ran away.
Before you were born.
Yeah.
Got it. Patty, we already saw. Tell him more. Like the guy, he playing in our faces at this point.
I'm waiting on your compliment.
I already gave you a compliment.
What was the compliment?
Oh, he said you looked put together.
Yeah, you look put together.
That's what. Well, you kind of echoed Kay. I wanted more of an original thing.
It looked like you have a home.
What does that mean?
Oh.
It looked like you have a home to take a shower and like get ready today.
I don't understand. Could you explain further?
Patty, just come back.
Okay.
What? You changed it.
I want it to match.
Match what?
Me.
The rest of your family. you wanted to match who? Who you want to match?
Match the gas, link up, puff pass.
How have you been, Petty?
I have been moisturized.
We couldn't tell.
Not my face, just like my neck down.
That's probably why we couldn't tell.
Elbows, knees, ankles, no face. Okay.
On other days, it looks like you may or may not have a home.
Well, Cynthia hasn't sent my wig, so in my opinion, she just doesn't have the money for it.
Period. And that's just that on that. Petty said he's been waiting for the wig he won when you had a live stream handing out wigs. So he won his wig.
If she can't afford it, she can say that. I don't mind. Not everyone has it like that. I understand.
What kind of wig do you want, Patty?
I forgot what it looks like. She showed it on stream.
Is it long or short?
I think it's long.
What kind of texture?
Hair.
Like his girlfriend.
Okay, Patty.
Petty, I want to show you what it feels like talking to you.
Okay.
Ready?
Well, in this world that you fear the least? Fish. Animal. Fish. Don't start. No, don't. You're starting, and I'm not.
A fish is an animal.
No, it's not. I'm talking about an animal. Like
Fish. Fish.
that's like saying like an ant. That's not an animal. Fish aren't animals. That's a sea creature.
A fish is an animal.
You can't go to the zoo and see a fish. They don't have zoo fishes.
There's actually so many fishes.
There's fish zoos. You can go to a fish zoo.
No, there's so many fish that they have their own fucking attraction called an aquarium.
That's different. That's like sharks and shit. No, that's why they have different names. I'm talking about an animal like a monkey, zebra. That's like saying a mammal.
You just ended yourself. If you would have said mammal, I would have gave you different answer. You said animal.
That's not a fish.
Fish is an animal.
No, fish. Something with paws is an animal, dog, and fur.
Is a lizard an animal?
No, it's an insect.
What's
a
lizard?
reptile?
What are reptiles?
So what's a human? Are we animals? Are we animals? Because we're humans.
Mammal.
Exactly, it's a mammal. It's not an animal.
Which is an animal.
So we're animals. Animal. Listen, you said humans are mammals, right?
I can't.
Listen.
I can't.
Listen to my explanation. Just get into my brain for a second.
I don't want to get in your brain. That is a sick, lonely, cold, slimy place.
We're not an animal.
You are.
I'm an animal. I won. Comments. I won.
Explain it.
You explain it. Well, how am I an animal?
You asked me.
Yeah.
What animal am I least
But
afraid
you
of?
called me an animal.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You just
You
said I'm
brought,
an
you
animal.
brought human beings into it.
Why are you
sack of
screaming
points.
at me?
Because you're stupidity. Fish.
I'm talking about animals.
I don't care. Animal.
What's the animal in this world that you fear?
Like they're pushing straws.
That's what it's like talking. That's what it's like talking sometimes.
The fact that Themis saw that and thought of you.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It means we have a great working relationship.
Yeah, my buddy has a lizard, and he likes to he, in his personal opinion, when it comes to animals, insects, reptiles, and stuff like that, he feels like usually the animals that have like problems don't get adopted. So like a dog with one leg shorter than the other, or who might have an extra chromosome or two. So he actually adopted a special lizard.
Aw. Hey,
Oh, that's nice of him.
Yeah,
Petty, why do you have a story for every scenario?
he has a reptile dysfunction.
when y'all started laughing together,
I was waiting for the
I
punchline.
knew that there had to be something. I knew there was something.
Girl, Petty, go online and find these weird jokes and then come and try them out with us.
And just wait all week till Wednesday to like.
He had a what? A reptile dysfunction.
Aw.
Yeah, you can go and search that joke online, but you can't find it because I just made it up.
And here I was about to ask, like, what was wrong with the lizard? Okay.
Wait. I have something else to show you. I need your opinion. I literally just found the reptile dysfunction joke. It's on that joke Twitter.
Read it to us.
That was such a quick Google.
There are many of them. One of them is called what is it called when a reptile can't walk? No, that's not okay. Let me leave that alone.
Petty,
Yeah,
why didn't you lie to us?
I didn't lie. I just made it up.
No, you said that you are the one who originated that joke.
You're putting words in my mouth. I never said it. I don't know her. Never heard of her.
My chameleon is acting weird. I think I have reptile dysfunction.
Never.
You
seen
play
that.
too much.
Never seen it.
Is Petty low-key calling me broke? LOL. Is that what you're doing, Petty?
She said low key.
All right. Well, I just sent Finn. I just sent her the link, so that's not on that. You tried it.
Yeah, she can come and get dragged. It's fine.
Wait, what did you just say?
Hmm.
You said Finn can come and get dragged. You think I'm playing? Well, she don't gotta come, but I did send it to her. So if she pop up here and start dragging you, you know you caused it.
Slap.
Oh, I need your opinions on this separately. Finn said she's cooking, so
These ways, like
So we only allow a waiver one time. As a courtesy, we gave you 2 waves, and this is your 10th time being late. We just can't keep waiving your late fee. As you know,
but
you
I
have
pay y'all though.
late. Yes, I understand. So you
I
have
don't like, to be honest, I really don't think I like your tone. I'm just being honest myself. I don't think I like your tone.
I completely apologize if you took offense to how I'm saying it. Let me try to rephrase or try to switch my tone up. So as you know, that rent is due on the 1st. However, we give you.
See, there goes the tone again. Like I know when rent due, but like again, I pay y'all. Y'all get y'all money. So I'm still not understanding like, well, you can't just wait a late fee. I pay you right now, and I just be along my way.
So that's what I was trying to explain. I'm so sorry. So the reason why we can't waive the late fees per your lease agreement and per the policy. As a courtesy, we gave you 2 waivers when we're not supposed to, but we can't keep on waiving late fees back to back, especially,
But y'all get paid back to back. Y'all, right? You saying late fees back to back because you keep. I see what you're doing. Like late fees. Oh, we can't keep waiving late fees back. You get paid back to back though. Like say that part.
Do you? Yes, we get paid back to back. Because this is about the rent.
I ain't got time calling the police. I ain't got time. I do not got time for that kind of foolishness. I'm not about to moderate my voice. I am not going to moderate how I feel, my tone. I'm not modulating my volume. I'm not about to do that with you. At the point at which I'm being courteous, and I've told you, you've been late too many times. You sign a contract. Please give me the money now, or like leave me alone. Like, what do you mean? You're getting this late fee.
And didn't she say they waived it like multiple times?
Yeah, like I'm done. The conversation ends as soon as you tell me to change my tone. Like, we're done.
And the thing is, she didn't even have any type of tone that was threatening or whatever.
The conversation ends when you tell me to change my tone.
She didn't even have, right, but she didn't even have any type of tone. She just said what was actually happening. But that's happened to me before too, online. Like, I'll say something in just a very like regular voice, like I'm talking right now. And if somebody doesn't like it, they'll be like, your tone. And I'm like, that's not the tone. You just don't like what I said.
Yeah, because it's not about the tone. It's you are mad because you are late. She's telling you you are late. You've been late. She's not about to waive the late fee. The funny thing, well, let me leave that alone.
Is that real? Like, at this point in life, like, sometimes I see things like that, you know, on TikTok or wherever. And I'm like, is this real?
I don't question that anymore. I just do what I want to do.
Is it
real or not, I just do what I want to do with it.
But like, I don't know. I mean, I know there are people who, I guess, have all types of conversations in real life, but it's like, I don't know. He seemed very unreasonable. Let me put it that way.
I mean, yeah, it did.
So unreasonable that it seemed unbelievable that it could be real.
I don't think it's unbelievable. I think her calmness is what is unbelievable. Because I would be mad. I would be annoyed. I would not change, like the way she keeps like trying to be like kind and nice and no, you're late. Give me the money. Leave me alone. Like, I'm not doing this back and forth. After I'm nice to you, if you're talking and we are having like a good moment, then I'll talk to you. But the minute you tell me change your tone or something like that, we're done.
What about if someone was recording you and you saw them?
No. If you have the camera in my face, I'm telling you, you are late. You have been late. Please give me the money. You will also have a late fee. You were telling me to take off the late fee. I say, no, I can't do that because per policy, we have, we've done it before 2 or 3 times and we can only do it 2 or 3 times. Your next statement should be, please, I don't have it and I really need it to come off. If that is not your very next statement, if your next statement is that you don't like my tone, well, you're really not about to like my tone next because I'm going to just stop talking and the charges are going to be there. And I'm just going to go through the process. Like, what do you mean? I'm not doing that.
And that would go viral and everyone would be on your side.
Yeah, like I'm not. Well, first of all, I don't care whose side these people on. That's the first problem. The second problem is when it comes to courtesy and when I have discretion, you don't disrespect me. The moment you disrespect me and then you think you're going to then come back and ask for me to use the discretion I have in your favor, you have lost your mind. Yeah, you have absolutely lost your mind. No, I do not take kindly to people who, I do not take kindly to disrespect generally. All right, since we all have made our contribution, we will move. That you would have considered a joke.
Wait, Petty didn't say. Did you say anything about that?
Yeah, his face told the story.
Oh,
hard.
Okay.
Petty.
I'm just stuck on when he says something like, but you need to tell them that I pay it every month late. That part or something. He says something like that, or am I tripping?
Yeah, it's the back. What he said.
Tell them that. You won't tell them that, though. You won't tell them even though it's late every month, it's paid. Like, no, I will tell them that.
You get paid back to back. It's like, girl, wait. Yes, you live here.
I don't understand. Is it like a credit card bill? Because my credit card will be like, do you want to pay on the 27th or the 3rd or any day in between? So if you're paying late consistently, why don't you just auto pay that? Or ask for them to move it out a couple of days or something. I don't know. But there's also I was looking at that video. I saw it like a little earlier this week, and I was going to make a whole video on it because in my mind, this represents, I've never actually seen it. If that is a skit or not, don't care. But I've actually never seen it so overtly where a Black woman will just be talking to someone calmly and they'll be like, why are you taking this tone with me? Why are you getting so loud and aggressive with me right now? And I watched it like twice to make sure I was looking at the same thing that whoever was in that video was looking at. And I think maybe, I don't think it's a skit because I've been in a situation before where I've said something that feels completely reasonable, and then HR come to me later that day talking about one of your coworkers anonymously, but I only talked to one person today, reported that you took a tone with them or something, and it has me thinking, wait, did I take a tone with somebody? Because I feel like I talk in the exact same monotone voice 100% of the time, regardless of my emotion. So what are you talking about? I'm talking crazy to you. I've been talking the same for the past 6 years. So I believe it's real. And I was going to do a video on implicit bias because I was like, okay, is this what they mean when people look at Black women and automatically they already have a perception in their mind just based off of skin color and gender before she even opened her mouth to say something? Then I was like, ain't nobody gonna watch that. So I didn't.
People do that.
People would have watched that. I don't think this is that a sort of bias in that way. I think this is, he just wanted to control her. But I agree with you, and I wish you had done that video because I would have liked to see that.
Now, me personally, I would have he would have made me have to defend myself. That's what that is. Because I would have had to pull out my taser and defend myself, and I would have said it to him, sir. You're making me have to defend myself right now, sir. I need you to back up. You're acting very, very crazy right now. Excuse me, that's ableist language. You're acting very foolish right now. You're gonna make me defend myself. You're being delusional. We're not in the same reality because I don't know what you heard, but you didn't hear it actually. So I need you to back up, or I'm gonna have to defend myself, sir.
Be like, I'm afraid I'm afraid. I feel
If you seeing something that's not there, I'm afraid for my life. That's what I see. Let's play. You want to play games? Cool, let's play.
Wait, Patty, do you think that people don't as often, I guess, accuse Black women of being loud and aggressive? Like, do you think that that's not a thing that happens a lot? Because I think it happens a lot, even if you are not being loud or aggressive.
I think it happens a lot. I've just never seen it like in this video. I've never seen it so overtly shown in this way. Because we all watched her talk calmly, and he was just like, ma'am, calm down. It ain't nothing that makes me less calm than somebody saying calm down when I'm already calm.
When you're already calm. Exactly.
No, I'm not calm. What do you mean calm down? I'm calm. Why are you anyway? Yeah, let's get not calm since that's what you see.
Let's get not calm.
Let's get not calm.
You want me to act crazy? Okay, got it.
Let's uncalm ourselves.
I want to add a debate that took place. So I'm going to hurry up and get to the debate that took place between, I think his name is Ace Metaphor, I don't know these people, and Tony Gaskin. And we are going to try to listen to it as a debate. Obviously, come with your personal biases. We're going to talk, but I want to get y'all's opinion on this. We're going to pause it a lot to break it down. Tony Gaskin has been going around dragging the men's for giving dating advice while not being married, not having qualifications, blah, blah, blah. And so he finally had a conversation with someone, and Ace Metaphor, and I think this was planned. Someone is calling me out. You don't know, you don't, Ace, Themis, I'm sure I sent you some of his stuff before. I'm sure you probably did too. I still don't know this man. I still don't know this man, but period. Thank you for sending him to me. But it is what it is. I don't know this man. Could not pick him up out of a lineup. I don't know who this man is, but apparently he's huge. And he went. So Hardly Initiated is another male podcast. They were interviewing Tony Gaskin, and they open up the panel. And Ace Metaphor, who Tony Gaskin dragged previously by name, was in the chat watching and decided to come up. And they asked Tony if he would be willing to have a conversation. To me, that looked like a setup, but like I'm not here to say people did things that I don't know if people did. So that's how I perceived it, but I could be wrong. So we're gonna watch it together.
Who is
And
Tony?
go
Tony
ahead.
Gaskins. Who is that?
I know him because of
On Tubi.
Deanne. Deanne, who was like a moderator on my channel, she was the one who introduced me to Tony Gaskin's content. I mean, I find it interesting. So like it is what it is. And yeah, let's get into it. Yeah.
Well, I know Ace Metaphor. I don't know Tony Gaskin, so he's probably a nobody. I haven't seen him on Tubi, so.
Why do you do this? You just want to cause problems.
I just haven't seen him on Tubi, so he can't be that big. Or
Is Metaphor on Tubi?
Probably.
So I thought you said you saw. All right, girl, I'm done with you.
I've
I'm not
seen
even.
Ace Metaphor before.
I don't care.
So tonight, let's talk. You've never played that before. Dusty
No.
Questions. You've never showed up. Never heard of her.
Nope.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah. Does Tony Gaskin have a card game, or like, what does he do?
He's one of those people that like there are clips of him talking about stuff. I can't exactly tell you like what things he's talking about, but I know I've seen him pop up like on some social media feed.
YouTube short. I got you.
You know, like the people who like sit in their. Well, no, let me not say he might not sit in his car. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Is he like Derek Jackson?
Mm.
Isn't he like that type of vibe?
He's that big?
I don't know, but I know he writes. I don't know.
Are you talking about that big physically or that big in terms of platform, Petty?
Platform.
All right. I don't know. I think he was before all of them, right?
So he should be bigger. Is he? Because now we know he should be if he started. Anyway, yeah, we can watch it.
But he's, one of those people that does that.
Okay. YouTube Shorts. I'll look out for him.
So did we get through the intro? Is there anything else you want to clarify before we get into this? Ask now. Go ahead. Because apparently we need to know the individuals before we get into the debate. So like, ask me. Because I know these two men.
Framing is important. Framing is important. He doesn't have anything on Tubi or Zeus, but he does have YouTube Shorts. Now we know. Now the conversation has
I don't know if it's YouTube Shorts, but I know I've seen him in like some clips as I scrolled feeds on some social media platform. Not sure which one. Just saying. Yeah, I don't know why we're doing this theme. Just go ahead and play the clip.
Do not let it pass you or miss you that Kay said that he talks about things. Wait, do you hold any of these men in high regard? Do you know any of these men?
Ace Metaphor, I've seen say something that made sense before. I don't know what he was saying, but I know for a fact that I've seen him say stuff before that has made some sense. Now, so I know that. I'm not gonna deep dive though into his content.
Got me either. This is why I'm doing this, because I've watched a bunch of like 2 or 3 of Tony Gaskin's video, and yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's for me, obviously, right? So like it's fine.
So we're all learning together, kind of. We're on different, like, different areas of the spectrum of how much we know about these people, but we all kind of know about them, or at least the vibe that they have.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Petty. Final go around. Are you good?
Yep, I'm not gonna knock any man's hustle.
Regardless of what it is.
Yep, sure.
All right, period. So sell drugs and he will be there to celebrate with you.
Critique it.
All right, ready? Anyone can pause it at any point. Just let me know. Take your pen and paper out and. No, his name is Bushy Brows. It's not Brows.
PG. And as a matter of fact, what we're gonna do here, because it looks like we actually got we actually put one of the wrong links out. So we're actually re-putting the link out for you ladies because some of y'all are actually in the wrong room. So check this out, y'all. We're getting this video together. We're getting this video right. So y'all just be patient here with us. But this is gonna be a plot twist for the night. And TG, if this is okay with you, I want to actually do this because you never know who's watching the show. And it's actually interesting here that I actually have on here the brother Ace Metaphor actually just entered
the chat.
It just entered the video.
That's crazy.
And I think he wants to actually respond on his perspective.
All right. I don't know if you heard me before, but apparently Tony Gaskin was on a previous podcast, didn't watch that either. And he called out unqualified dating coaches and he called out Ace by name. Didn't watch this, don't care, right? We care about the debate. And these two people expect me to believe that he just so happened to be there. They just so happened to send out the link to the wrong group and he just so happened to want to come up to talk. And then they put him in a very weird spot live to ask if he can come up. But do y'all believe this? We don't know these people, so we can't really judge, but I don't believe it.
I think it didn't feel authentic. I can't judge, obviously, but I feel like if somebody popped up in my chat, I'd be like, "Oh my God, he's in the chat. Should we bring him up?" I don't feel like, well, in a surprising turn of events, you never know who could be behind the scenes. It looks like we have the Ace Metaphor. Would you like to speak? I don't know. That doesn't sound authentic to me, but it could be.
If I were Tony Gaskin, I would say this is a setup. If we're there and you actually want my honest opinion of if I wanted to talk to that person, do not announce it publicly. You can private chat it to me. You can message it to me. You can mouth it to me. You can do anything you want, but say it loudly for everyone to hear so that I am pressured into saying it. To be fair, I wouldn't be pressured. I'd say, no, I do not want to talk to a grifter. I mean, it is what it is. But that's just me. All right, ready?
Perspective, because the brother is literally in here backstage right now.
Wow.
As I'm taking video calls. Now, if that's okay, do you mind me bringing up Ace to let him say his point?
Oh my.
Ace. So I'm actually about to bring Ace up here to the forefront. And
what's going on?
Ace,
Yo,
what
Ace,
is
what is
popping with you,
good?
Ace? We got Ace and TV live in effect. What's up, Ace?
Hey, you know when you got to go to the basement and turn on the studio lights and say, "What's up, man? What's going on?"
Wow.
Hey,
Tony,
yo,
nice to meet you
this
officially.
Everybody knows this setup right here, Ace.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
incredible.
How y'all been, brothers?
Good, man.
We
Good.
blessed.
Yeah, glad you joined us, man. Look, glad you got the production set up too.
And
Got that lighting going.
Yeah, and see the thing about it is actually it's interesting that you came up here. Shout out for you being on
Can you pause it real quick?
video right now. Obviously, you know, Tony has made the way he feels and his stance clear about making sure that people are able to get the best guidance possible from the coaches and the experts in the space. And your platform actually was one that was mentioned. So what's your take and what's your perspective?
Before we get into her, oh, you're back. Before we get into the take and perspective, Sin is here. If you want to see Sin's content, she's been putting videos out on Patreon. They're the exact same. They're amazing, very well done. It's patreon.com/CynthiaG. 2 L's is going to drop the link. So please make sure to go over there and follow Sin. So that's the housekeeping matter. This is so fake. It looks fake to me too. So
Fake?
it is what it is.
I think that's a little rude. Ace Metaphor was in the comments. He just happened to get the link by accident. He was watching, while he was grocery shopping, and they said, "Come on up." So he teleported home in his setup with his lighting perfectly capturing the right angle, and that's just what happened. And y'all are trying to make it seem fake.
Look, right? Like he is in his studio, lights on, everything up. Period. All right, girl. Period.
Just because there's an imprint in the chair, as if he's been sitting there for a long time, you think it's fake. Okay.
Tony, probably. I think Tony know he was ambushed, and
Tony
if he wasn't ambushed, he was in on it. So that's that on that.
Tony said.
So
I ain't never scared, so let's do it wherever.
Themis and Petty, y'all don't just sit like at your setup anytime you're online, just in case someone accidentally like invites you on their podcast.
Period. Period.
Maybe it's a thing. No, it's not.
To be fair, my setup is very easy. Like there's a bunch of things happening, but I can just run in and click one button and everything is ready. So it could be. It could be. Thank you so much for that. No, thank you for your content. We were in my Discord earlier today, watching an old live where you came on, and we were just like really thinking about how the space is not the same without you. And so we're on a mission to get you to come back because, yeah. Anywho, I appreciate you, appreciate your voice, I appreciate your support. So thank you. All right, let's do it.
On what was stated.
So
And first, did you hear what was stated?
Yeah, I rewatched it. You know, everybody, internet is funny. They tag you real fast. So here's the thing. I respectfully disagree with my brother there. And the reason why I disagree is because there are all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life. While I understand your perspective as a married man, brother, and this is also tagged along to the Instagram post that you guys made a couple weeks ago. While I do understand your perspective, there are so many people right now struggling with dating, getting in and out of situationships, relationships, getting their heart broken. And even then I can say to you, brother, that maybe you're out of touch there. You know what I'm saying? So there are people that I bring on my panel that have walked and touched all different parts of life. This woman may be able to speak to this particular experience. This man may be able to speak to that particular experience. And that might reach somebody in that audience a little bit differently than you can. It doesn't mean that it's better, worse, or indifferent. It just means there are different perspectives. To think that all human beings are monolithic, that our walks of life all take the same course and the same path, and that there's one set of advice to give to all different people, to me seems out of touch. And it disqualifies a lot of people's personal experiences. One of the things I want to correct real quick that I heard that was spoken, now that we know the name is on there, like, we do have married people on our panel. That was the most confusing part about the whole thing. There are married people and there are actual relationship coaches and professionals that we bring. We have had therapists, we have had life coaches, we have had mentors, we've had people that are actively in the community be regular parts of our discussions. And so I just felt like it was a little bit of misinformation, and it comes from not actually, observing what we got going on.
I observe what you have going on, but let me ask you this. What is the purpose of dating?
It depends on who you asking.
All right. So that question won't make sense if you don't understand the kind of the issue at hand. Tony Gaskin does not think that men who are not married should be giving dating advice.
Oh, I thought he was going to say people. I thought Tony had was a relationship
coach
or a therapist or something, like with actual training, or no?
No, I mean they all have training, and they I shouldn't talk about his qualification because I actually don't know his qualification. I don't know him, but he is someone that is very well respected in the dating space, and he is a dating coach,
like Kevin Samuels. So they have the same credentials. He and Kevin.
I don't think it's right to say they have the same credentials unless we look.
Well, he didn't work in a perfume shop, so we can't give him that. You're right.
No, stop. You're being mean to Tony Gaskin, and I don't want you to be biased. I want you to actually, because like for me, I don't know his credentials, and I didn't look it up. The reason I didn't look it up is I didn't want to come in with any preconceived bias about either of their position. I literally came in with what I know, and it's very little.
Well,
But
I
go
don't
ahead.
know either of them that well. I've seen Ace a few times, and that's a few times more than I've seen Tony. So maybe there is a bias there. I'll acknowledge that. But what I disagree with specifically, number one, is the fact that we have 650 people watching, but not 650 likes. I need them to get the likes up. That's what I need.
Period.
It's
Number
free.
two, now that you've contextualized what he said, and he's married, and he thinks that people who aren't married shouldn't give relationship advice, I disagree with that. So that specifically is what I disagree with, not that he doesn't sell perfume.
All right. Do you want to discuss that, or do you want to hear this first? And can you note this? Should I write this down that you disagree that people who are dating who are not married should not be giving dating advice?
Don't write it down. I want to be able to deny it later if I need to.
We definitely need to come back to that, though, that point. Like, we should watch the rest of what we were going to watch, but we definitely have to come back to that because there's so many things to say about that.
He didn't even say happily married, just okay.
There are so many things. I think I said theirs. There are so many things to say about that.
All right. Got it. So people who are not married should not be giving dating advice is his position. Petty disagrees. Kay, do you disagree or agree?
I think that people who aren't married can definitely give dating advice.
All right.
Dating
so
advice? Like, they're
Yeah.
also dating. Like, what? And I'm not one of those people that thinks that just because you aren't doing a specific thing or whatever, that you cannot give any good advice about a thing, because there are some things that are just best practice that anyone could know. Yeah, I wouldn't. And I think you deny yourself of a lot of good perspective, even if it's not advice you're going to take, if you just say, oh, I don't want to hear what you're talking about because you're not doing this or that. But I do understand the frustration that some people have when people are like self-proclaimed, like dating gurus, wife school, all this type of stuff, but they're not married. Because like, if you are a person that wants those things and you are an expert, why wouldn't you have that thing? You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it still doesn't mean that you can't give good advice, but it just comes off weird if you're an expert on a thing that you want and you don't have the thing that you're talking about.
Because as soon as he said dating coach, okay, I'm a dating coach. There are no credentials for it. I can do it. We're on the same level. That's why I don't trust him. Because my therapist said, when I moved from state to state, she said, "Oh, I only have a license to practice in this state. So if you move states, I can't be your therapist anymore. But I have a coaching program, and I can do that anywhere because there's no requirements for licensing or any type of a jurisdiction that restricts me from practicing outside the state." So what that told me was, you can't be a therapist anywhere. You can be a coach wherever. You can go on a plane and coach the people on the plane. There's probably no laws against it, flying on a plane and coaching people. You can go across the world in different countries. You don't need a license. It is not stringent at all to become that. So I don't respect it as much as something that's like a therapist or something who's trained in these things. So
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I'll come back to your responses in a moment. 93% of people watching said that they hit the like button. 94% said they hit the like button, but we have almost 700 people watching and only 248 likes. So y'all play too much. Please hit that like button. It's very helpful to me. It is the least you can do for Petty, who did a new hairstyle for y'all. All right.
probably just before you start, they're probably like button coaches instead of like button therapists. That's what that is, and that's the difference between coaching and therapy, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, no. Well, I'm not saying no to you. I'm saying no to a comment there. But I understand the sentiment, but I'm in alignment with y'all. But I will want to hear in a moment.
In my purpose, if you ask me specifically, in the scope of society, in the scope of family, what is the purpose of dating?
For some people, for a large percentage of the people, the scope of dating, if you're being intentional, is to find a husband or wife.
Correct. So
But let me ask you this question, a follow-up question.
someone
Is that
dates.
the reason why everyone dates?
Is that the reason?
Why everybody dates? Is that the reason?
But what I'm saying is we shouldn't promote what the devil doing. We shouldn't promote what is disadvantageous. So if someone is dating for sex, if someone is dating for fun, us as people with a platform should be promoting what is going to benefit society, not what is going to confuse society. So Albert Einstein said you cannot solve a problem from the same level it was created. So having people who are dating, talking to people who are dating, someone who's dating can't help someone who's dating, because the goal of dating is marriage. So a married person can tell someone who is dating, this is what you need to look out for while you're dating. This is what you need to check off. This is what you need.
When the last time you've been actively dating multiple people? When the last time you actively been dating? Like not your.
All right. So here is an issue. Tony Gaskin's inquiry into what the purpose of dating is for Ace, I think, is a good question. If you're teaching people how to date, if you're engaging in the dating scene, the question then becomes why, right? And if you're tailoring your advice, or if you're teaching people, or if you're engaging with people, ultimately there is a reason, and your end result you should be able to articulate your end result. The fact that this man, can't really explain why, and he's like, it is to get married for some people, but for others it's this, or for others it's that, means that he is tailoring his program to what people want and not trying to make people want a certain thing. He's not approaching it from a biblical perspective, let's say. Marriage is not the end goal for everyone who is dating in his mind, and therefore he gets to play loose and fast with the dating game.
What's the problem with that?
I'm not saying there's a problem with
Well, Themis, I think, like, while you were talking, I was like, okay, yeah, there should be, a learning objective. Like, students will be able to, right?
Yeah.
So, but in his situation, he's not being specific, like you said. I understand him not being specific because he's right. Like, different people have different things that they want out of dating. Some people want a long-term, companionship or whatever. Some people want marriage. That's true. But to your point, I do think that there are some baseline things that both of those groups of people would want, whether you're trying to be married or you're just trying to have a successful relationship. And I think that he could have avoided looking like he didn't have a learning goal or target or objective if he would have been specific about that general thing that those groups might have in common that they would be looking for in a relationship, whether it was leading to marriage or not.
The tone that Tony is taking is one of pure condescension. And the problem with taking this approach is it does not come off well, because from my perspective, how I'm interpreting their interaction, Tony Gaskin does not like Ace metaphor. Tony does not want to talk to him, does not want to engage with him. And it is one of those experiences for me where he is saying, I only debate with my equals, all others I teach. And because of that approach, this conversation does not go well for either party. So when Tony is saying, instead of asking what is the end goal, he should have asked, are you a Christian? Are you teaching dating from a Christian perspective?
Yeah.
And if so, do you think people should be dating to get married? Because you have to first set up the groundwork for how you're going to engage. And because I don't think he actually cares about this man. I don't think he want to talk to him. I think he probably wants him off the internet, if you ask me. So even their body positions right now, it's like, girl, I'm over you. That's what Tony is saying. And this one is like trying to prove, like, engage. And this is never a good way to engage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. So far, it seems like because that one with the silver shirt is Tony, right?
Yeah.
So who is that other man?
Ace.
No, the other man. Didn't we
The
see
other two
someone?
men are the host. There are two other men who are hosting.
Oh, so those are just some other people. Okay, I was just making sure I had my
No,
people
it's
right.
their platform. They're interviewing Tony, and then Ace Metaphor came up to talk
Okay.
to Tony.
Okay, so Tony does seem like he has already, I guess, like thoughts that he has about Ace. We got to watch some more, but it seems like he already knows like where he wants this conversation to go and is just setting it up so that he can be like, well, see, that's why we're different, because you're doing this and I do this type of thing. So we'll
Yeah.
see if that's how it goes. But that's what it seems like so far.
Petty. I don't know if you want to. I can go.
I think he's lying. I think he's unintentionally lying, because it sounds like he's saying the purpose of dating is marriage, and we shouldn't be promoting things that are disadvantageous to people, which would be anything in dating that's not leading to marriage or something like that. But I feel like Cynthia G just the other day was citing some research that showed that women in a relationship and marriages are less healthy and less happy. So
Okay, but that's out of scope, though. Unless if you that's you disagreeing with the end result. The end result being marriage. Whether or not marriage is a good thing or a bad thing isn't up for debate here.
No, but when he's saying marriage is the advantageous thing and we shouldn't be promoting,
from a biblical perspective.
So again, that's why I feel like he's unintentionally lying, because he's saying we shouldn't promote what's disadvantageous. But for women, it feels like it is. So in my mind, he's promoting something that only benefits men. So when he says we shouldn't be promoting what's disadvantageous, I'm thinking for who?
But you're arguing on principle whether the thing being promoted is good or bad. That is not a part of the debate because they've concluded that it's good. Like you would be right to question the premise, but none of them are questioning the premise.
I feel like he distinctly said, "Oh, well, he didn't say that marriage is bad," but it feels like he says that's not the purpose of dating.
Yeah, but it should be in Tony's mind. And the other guy, Ace, is saying that marriage might not be. So now, whether or not it's good or bad hasn't been up for discussion yet, or might not be up for discussion. Because I don't think Ace will say marriage is bad necessarily, but that people want other things. But if you're a Christian, you shouldn't want any other things when you're dating, from Tony's perspective.
Okay.
So you first need to find out if this man is Christian and if he's working from a Christian perspective.
Yeah, I think that would have put the conversation. I mean, I guess they would have had more of a clear direction.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped the gun. He was making me have to defend myself.
So you are already fighting this man. You already don't like Tony. So every time,
just look at his body language. It is
very dismissive. It is very dismissive, and I think it's because this is an ambush.
Ooh.
Like I don't believe them. I think this is an ambush, and you don't do this to people.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Let's watch more.
You're white, but you've been in a dating market. This is what you have to understand.
No, so it's the question. You asked me a very direct question. I gave you an answer. My point is, my purpose, if you ask me specifically,
in the scope of society, in the scope of family, what is the purpose of dating?
For some people, for a large percentage of the people, the scope of dating, if you're being intentional, is to find a husband or wife.
Correct. So,
but let me ask you this question, a follow-up question. Is that the reason why everyone dates?
Is that the reason
why everybody dates? Is that the reason?
But what I'm saying is we shouldn't promote what the devil doing. We shouldn't promote what is disadvantageous. So if someone is dating for sex, if someone is dating for fun, us as people with a platform should be promoting what is going to benefit society, not what is going to confuse society. So Albert Einstein.
So sorry, this is also important. Even if you did that without asking if he's Christian, you can do that on the back end. So make this statement because you are being Tony is being very paternalistic in his approach. he's saying you do not cater to the audience, you just create that which the audience need. You don't bend to the will of the audience, you tell them what they need, particularly when it comes to dating. It should be for marriage. When you're saying other people don't want to get married, that is not important. If you're pushing the biblical perspective, it should be for marriage. The next question and the next line of conversation should be whether or not that's what you need to do. Should you be pushing marriage from a biblical perspective? Are you operating from a biblical perspective? So you don't have to do it on the front end, but you definitely need to do it on the back end, because you all are not on the same page. And the conversation can't move forward if you are preaching that this is what we need to do from a biblical perspective. And he's saying, well, I'm not operating from a biblical perspective.
Yeah, does he know that ace metaphor is not coming from
We don't know. We don't know, because no one is asking, and someone needs to ask.
Yeah, because that's where the disconnect is, definitely.
Yeah.
I said you cannot solve a problem from the same level it was created. So having people who are dating, talking to people who are dating, someone who's dating can't help someone who's dating, because the goal of dating is marriage. So a married person can tell someone who is dating, this is what you need to look out for while you're dating. This is what you need to check off. This is what you need.
When the last time you've been actively dating multiple people? When the last time you actively been dating? Like not your wife, but you've been in a dating market.
This is what you have to understand.
No, so it's the question. You asked me a very direct question. I gave you an answer.
I'm answering you.
All right, sorry, there might have been an echo. This don't make sense. Why are you not answering his question?
Yeah, you're talking about the question that he just asked Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's a good question. Because if you are, the thing he said right before that if you're dating, you can't help anybody else that's dating. I think that's absolutely false. Like, you can be in a happy, successful, healthy relationship and absolutely give somebody else like advice.
Wait, what? I think he misquoted Albert Einstein also. It's not that you can solve a problem from the same level. It is about like consciousness. So it's like you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it, right? Because you have to change your mind to solve the problem that you created. It's talking about a level of consciousness. It's not that you can't, at the same level that you created the problem, solve the problem at the same level. Like, you have to be above it in some way. So you have to be married, which he thinks is above dating or single. So like that's a weird way to manipulate the Einstein words. So like, I don't know why he did that, but that's kind of off-putting.
You think he was intentionally quoting Einstein? I don't believe it. Plus, that doesn't make sense to me, because I see single women looking at married women and being like, ooh, no. So when I sort of agree with the idea of a bird's eye view, but I feel like the person who's married wouldn't have a bird's eye view. The person who's single, in my experience, this is anecdotal, obviously, but I'd be looking at people's relationships that they be staying in for years from the outside in, and I'd be like, so I don't understand his perspective on that, but maybe he'll clear it up. I also do think people who I also think the premise is flawed that you have to be married to give advice, because it sounds like he said single people need someone who's married to tell you what to expect. But just because he's married doesn't mean he has experienced every single problem that any married person will experience ever in all existence. So,
and it's not cookie cutter. Like, something that might work in one person's marriage might not work in somebody else's. I don't, like I said, I think there are some baseline things that you can just say that are best practice, like, things about communication or whatever, respect, stuff like that, that are, just best practice in a relationship of any sort. But yeah, I don't think what Tony said so far doesn't make sense.
Same. Tony is down a bunch of points right now. I would say though, and I shouldn't do this like in the middle of whatever, I'm going to do it. We're just online. It's not like a real judging of a tournament or anything like that. So I can do it. Tony seems smarter, way smarter than the other guy, right? Ace. and way more thoughtful. Ego is not your friend. If he is, I think if he was humble enough to actually invest in this conversation, he would have been clearer. He could have made a more nuanced position that included Christianity. But a sort of carte blanche statement where it's like, oh, if you're not married, you can't give dating advice is too heavy a burden. Like it's too much to prove, right? Because for random reasons, being married does not qualify you to give advice, and it not being married does not exempt you from giving advice. So it's a really heavy burden. It's a really heavy thing to heavy lift. It's a really heavy lift. And when the guy asked, when was the last time you were dating? Obviously, he's talking about a cultural dynamic, a cultural shift that happens. And so maybe your way of dating isn't applicable in this scenario. And so Tony could just answer a while. I'll just answer directly, but he's like meandering around the point, and I don't like that. Yeah, right now slavery, I mean marriage is not free. Not Sin and Petty on the same page. All right, let's continue.
Okay,
go ahead.
Dating is principle based. It doesn't matter if it's 2023 or 1903. A relationship is based on principles, not the culture, not the trend, not the fad. Love does not change. Love stays the same because God is love and God does not change. Love is not contingent upon strip clubs and pornography and Instagram and social media. So the same way that my wife and I dated is the same way that people who will have a healthy marriage date today. But what you're trying to say is that we should date differently today because it's 2023. And that's not true, because a relationship is based on principles. So
now,
what I'm
is that, before you go forward, let me say.
Did someone say stop?
He didn't answer though, but no, I don't think anybody.
We didn't say stop, but I have questions because I'm trying to see if relationships are the same in 2023 as they were in 1903. That's what I'm trying to see. Because I think my dad said if I liked the girl, I should get her a lemonade. My grandpa said he couldn't go in the store to get lemonade. They would tell him to get out of here, N-word. So I feel like it definitely was not the same. That's just one difference, just an itty bitty little minor difference that I feel like was around back then. Or 1903. When did women get rights? Real quick.
But not only that, technology changed. Human psychology developed in different ways. Like obviously some fundamentals will be there, but like a blanket statement as in the principles stay the same feels very ego driven and not really thoughtful. Roxy says you've been a member for 14 months. Thank you.
Are you trying to insinuate that if men follow advice where other men pretend like in this day and age where things are different from the times where like women didn't have rights and needed men, and they try to apply that dating practice to today, do you think this would lead to something like, I don't know, the rise of like single men who are lonely? Just made that up in my head, like credit. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are people in the comments saying Tony is stupid. I would not say that. I don't agree with that sentiment. I think he's actually smart. Based on what he said, I think he's wrong in this debate so far, and he's falling behind. But it's not because the other guy is good. It's just he seems too dismissive. Like it's almost like he's dismissing this guy, so he's not engaging with anything, and he's making these very declarative statements that are so absolute that they are not defensible. Like you can't defend what he's saying. Tony is full of BS and is playing. If that is the criteria for advice, ask him why he is on that specific platform with men who aren't married then. Okay, he's going around telling them that they shouldn't be dating coaches.
I want to be very clear here. Specifically, I said people are not monolithic. Right now, you're bringing in God, devil, the Bible, and those are your particular principles. And I respect that, brother. I grew up religious too. I respect what you're saying. Dating, the main purpose of dating, it should be to find a mate. People shouldn't have sex before marriage. From the biblical perspective, I understand your perspective. brother, but I'm not going to dismiss your perspective simply because it doesn't align with mine or this person's or that person. I think
Your very next question should be, are you a Christian? And are you trying to serve God through that which you're doing? That needs to be your next question, because you now have a responsibility to make him believe in your God and make him agree with your perspective if he does not already believe. If he says he's a Christian and he believes in God and he's doing it for the glory of God or whatever, then now you can critique him with your specific critique as a Christian man, because he would be going counter to what you believe the Bible is saying. But if he's saying, I am not doing this from a Christian perspective, you literally have no ground to stand on. Derek Jackson was legally married, definitely not committed, and was single, single by behavior, period.
He was single by choice, married
Mhm.
legally.
I mean, at least one of them was married in that relationship. All right, go ahead, sorry.
But even if he would have asked Ace, you know, are you a Christian or whatever, and Ace as like a content creator, podcast host or whatever, even if he would have answered like, yeah, you know, I'm a Christian or whatever, then that would not have shut down the discussion necessarily, because
No, it would,
everyone that calls into his show isn't necessarily a Christian.
but
So like, he would
you as
still
a
be
Christian
arguing.
don't get to, unfortunately, you as a Christian do not get to change the biblical principle to match those of the people calling in. If you're a Christian, you have to stand by it. So whoever come to you for advice have to get it from a Christian perspective.
But do you
Unfortunately.
think, Themis, that, okay, I get what you're saying, and this would be my question to you just based on that, because I'm genuinely curious. Like, if someone is a Christian, so if someone that's not a Christian comes to them, they have to only give the advice like one way, or can they provide advice to that person even if that person's not a Christian?
They can provide advice. It just, from my perspective, it just should not run counter to the Bible.
Right. But it wouldn't have to. Like,
If
if
you
someone,
are asking how to hook up with women before marriage, that is definitely going against the Bible.
but if it's just not like, ooh, how do I do that? But if it's more so like, you know, I have this situation, I'm dating this person, and you know, I don't know, we're having this disagreement about XYZ. He can give advice on that, even if those people have no plan on getting married, and that wouldn't be
Yeah. No,
that
I agree
wouldn't be
with
going
you. I
against his
agree with you.
Christian principles.
But you actually have to establish that he's Christian, because he just said, I understand you. I grew up Christian, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing that. You need to ask directly. Like, you need, because one of the things that Christians have been doing that I don't like online is when they say they're Christian, they come and do some degenerate stuff, say some degenerate stuff, and then they go, I was raised Christian. And they don't overtly say, I am not Christian anymore, right? So it's like, I would ask him directly. So you need to say you are not Christian. You need to blaspheme.
Remember when that
If
happened
you're
on
gonna do
the
what you
show?
need to do, you need to blaspheme. I'm going to ask you directly.
Remember when that happened? There was a caller that kept saying like she's not a Christian, but she was like very clearly still very much.
Yeah. I mean, they all denied Jesus. Let me start. After Jesus was captured, all his disciples were like, the disciples were all sitting around Jesus. They're like, we will never deny you. We will never deny you. Jesus said, you will deny me 3 times. You will. They're like, I could never. The cock crowed 3 times. They deny him 3 times. I don't believe these people. His podcast is serving black male worshiper. It's chaotic. All right. Sorry. Do you guys want to continue?
So, oh, well, you said you don't know about his podcast. Is his
No.
is Ace's podcast about relationships, generally speaking?
Yeah. So I've seen clips of, like, not him. I've never really heard his opinion, but like, there's always some degenerate man on there saying some degenerate foolishness about women. But I
Oh,
don't
there's
know
like a
him.
panel and stuff like that.
Yeah, all these men are like, all of this is all of them renting studios and having panels. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see what Tony asks him, or if he ever answers his question.
Yeah, the disciples said, all the disciples became Kiki Palmer. Sorry to this man.
The particular problem isn't me saying that your take is wrong. I respect it. I enjoy listening to your content. But to say how things should work for all people and dismiss everyone else that doesn't speak your particular alignment, to me, is irresponsible. And the reason I say that is because there are all sorts of people doing all sorts of things, loving all sorts of ways. And if you think that your way is the only way that works, brother, I commend you. I'm just saying there are people from all walks of life that need to hear other perspectives, either to solidify theirs or make them curious about another way that could work better for them. Brother, the one thing you said that was really interesting to me.
You telling me who you're working for.
You said what?
You're telling me who you're working for.
And that's why a lot of people.
Oh, love your channel theme. It's not voodoo doll, right? When I'm talking about my Christian God. Voodoo doll said in Twitter. Unfortunately, I cannot. Let me stop. Thank you, Voodoo Doll. I appreciate you. All are welcome here. I will convert everyone into Christian by the end of this live stream. Go ahead.
Do you believe people who are Christian who say it's okay for me to have a Christian household, but I won't judge other people who are different religions or atheist or agnostic, and I won't try to push my beliefs on them? Do you think what they're doing is blasphemous because they're...
No. I think we are all called to do different things. Like, I cannot help people convert. That is not my ministry. And I think we all have our gifts. And if I think I would end up pushing people away from God than calling them to God if I came out and started preaching. Because like if you ask me something and I don't know, I'm just gonna look at you like I'm not gonna go tell you to pray about it. I don't know. Never thought about that. Don't know her. Don't know what that means. Never felt it. Never spoke to God. Actually speak to God a lot. Never heard him speak back to me, but I still believe. If you say, Themis, you sound delusional, I'm like, yeah, to me too. I sound delusional, but that's how I define my faith.
So is the blasphemy defined by action?
Yeah, if you overtly deny God, and if you step away from God, and if you curse God, like that is the blasphemy.
So if he gives relationship advice that contradicts the Bible or Christianity, that's blasphemy. But if there are people who come on his panel, for example, and ask for advice, and he says, do X, Y, or Z, whatever works for you. I don't know. That sounds like the same thing. Now I say it out loud. If he does it in a less actiony way, is it still blasphemy?
Less actiony?
Yeah, like a less assertive way where he's not giving advice, but he does something else.
I mean, I'm not like, again, this biblical scholar, but I think it's one about your heart and also like what you believe and what you're trying to do, but then make that manifest, right? So like you could want, the flesh is evil, right? In this perception. So you could want to deny God, but if you don't do it, that is you pushing back against the feeling you have. So if you don't overtly do it, then you can't be, I don't think, based on my interpretation of the Bible, I don't think you are judged poorly for the thought or wanting to do it if you control it and don't do it, right? So I feel like it's fine. Like if he's like, this is fine. I grew up Christian. I understand what you're doing. I still think if he's Christian, it's wrong. If he thinks it's wrong specifically, but also if he never gets to deny God or deny Christianity outright, I personally don't hold it against him. I don't know what God does.
Okay, I'll bring it to my pastor and argue this weekend.
Wait, I didn't know you were Christian.
I'm not.
But you have a pastor, period. As you should.
We do debate tournaments. Just get up in church and shout something that like goes against what they're saying and ask them to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
So who did you all think that Tony was, what did you think Tony was insinuating before we watch the rest?
That he's working for the devil.
Okay, that's what it sounds like. Now, I know
That's what he's doing. Wait, yeah, that's what he's doing.
I know he's gonna. We'll see how it goes, but that is what one
Wait, can
could.
you talk for a second? I need to get my food at the door. Sorry.
Yeah. So it sounds like that's what he's insinuating, but I feel like that's gonna like get cleared up somehow because I don't think he wants to be insinuating that directly.
I thought it was like a Martha Stewart reference. You don't think so?
How so?
He said, "I know who you're working for."
Yeah, if he's telling you the Bible says to do this, this is what you need to do, and you're like, yeah, I understand that, but I'm not doing that. I'm doing something else, and the something else is counter to what God is, as a Christian, what God is saying you should do. Yeah, you're working for the devil. I mean, he should have just come out and say, yeah.
And like, is that even what you should be doing? Is that the way you should talk to people if you have a disagreement about something? Or
it depends. Like, I'm not gonna police. Like, if that's what he truly believes, that's what he believes. If you're doing something that is anti-Christian, you're working for the devil. And I would much rather him say, I say it outright. But like,
but is it Themis, you might know because you are, the Christian here.
well, true.
Is it against Christian principles to say that someone else is working? I mean, not that he said that because he didn't. It was just kind of insinuated. But is it against Christian principles to say someone else is working for the devil just because y'all have different points of view?
It's not just because you have different point of view. You guys can have different point of view on what the Bible means, and that would be out of line. But the Bible, people are like, don't judge lest ye be judged. No, all through the Bible, God tell us to judge. They said, do not suffer a witch to live. So like, the God is telling us to make judgments, and you can judge and say you're working for the devil. Like, you can. Like, if you're working for the devil, as a Christian, you can say this person is working for the devil. Now, how much you go around judging people is gonna vary, but yeah, and hopefully you're not wrong. But yes, you can, in fact, say what you're doing is furthering the kingdom of hell. Yes.
Okay. It wasn't rhetorical. I was looking for an answer and you gave one.
Now, you can disagree with this, but biblically, yes, you can do that. I don't think any scholar would disagree with that.
Okay.
Jesus walked into the church and started throwing stuff. Let me stop. All right, let's continue. Christians generally don't act how they're supposed to. Gentle, kind, humble, meek, and patient. They choose deviltry all that. Period. Agreed. And this is why I would push people away. Thank you, Sen. Sending love to the podcast. I appreciate that.
Look,
But meaning you
when
tell
you say that, you go what you're saying.
You're working to provide a platform for all of the voices, for all the different types of people, because people are not a monolith. So the voices that you are giving a platform to have no success if they are not in a healthy relationship.
I just told you that there are people on our panel that are married.
Exactly. That's not what's being
Ace,
posted.
hey, I got a quick question here, Ace, because just to see if there's even any common ground, do you feel like there are some people who should not be putting out relationship content? Do you also feel like there is a group of people who you would deem unqualified to speak on these topics?
Personally?
Yes.
Man, it's real interesting. I'm so busy with my play, brother, that I don't really look up.
Say dating coach.
Grifter. That is my opinion. Grifter, and this is where you lost the debate. If you're debating someone or talking to someone, this is a debate, and we're scoring the debate, and we'll tell you who wins the debate at the end from each of our perspective. If the host is asking you, all right, let's find a common ground. If you look out into the YouTube internet sphere, is there anyone that you think is not qualified to be giving dating advice? And you are going, oh, I don't even see other people. I only focus on myself. You don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah, because he could have answered that with something that isn't so specific.
Question fit. Just
but
go into the question fit.
he
Everyone,
could've
you
answered.
go ahead. I'm kidding.
He could have just been like, the people that aren't qualified are the ones that are giving advice that's harmful to, whoever. Or, I mean, he could have answered that,
Dating coaches who think only married people should give advice.
Right. But that would be taking shot at someone he just said he liked their content and that he doesn't think it's wrong. So
You can critique the artist without critiquing the work.
period.
You should have critiqued both. But
Sorry, I said grifter. That's the vibe I'm getting. I'm not saying he is a grifter. Let me retract. I don't know these people.
Across the aisle, there are content creators that I don't particularly vibe with. I don't like their rhetoric. I don't like the way they speak to women in general.
Well,
but there
I'm not being specific about any one person. I just mean like, do you more so? Because obviously Tony pretty much stands on, if you're not married, like you should not necessarily be putting out this work.
I think that's probably, to respectfully, man, I think that is
or you just have to frame the conversation. You have to frame the conversation.
Okay, so you just gonna derail the question. You just gonna derail because they ask you, is there anyone you think should not be putting it out? They're saying, for example, this is his position, this is his principle. If you're not married, you shouldn't be giving this, you shouldn't be giving that. So even Tony is saying, don't go to your priest or pastor for advice if they're not married, which don't make no kind of sense, but okay. That's his principle. Why are you attacking that? Give yours. Have some kind of principle. Right? Am I crazy? I feel like you should have some kind of principle.
I understand the desire to be accepting of like different perspectives, not being so rigid about certain things. I get that maybe that's what Ace is trying to do, but like you said, you still have to have like something, just something, like some kind of baseline, I guess, for this, if this is the content that you, I mean, what is the point of this conversation if there's not going to be any like specifics about?
Here's Ace. Ace need to get to because like he's leading in my tallying in my head of points for this debate only because he's attacking Tony's points. He does not have a point to be attacked. Tony is putting his principle out there. You cannot give dating advice if you're not married. That is a huge burden to bear in a debate. So it's easy to attack. But I need to know what your position is, because it's easy to be on the offensive because he doesn't put any. He's not. It looks like he's defending his platform, but in the conversation, he's not defending. He's attacking Tony's principle about who gets to debate or who gets to give advice.
Yeah. Like mine is a simple one of you don't need like a degree or a therapy license, I think, to give good advice. In my opinion, my principle is just based on people who end their sentences with sprinkle, sprinkle. Those are the only people I believe should be able to give advice.
They're auditioning for the women's. So most married people give horrible advice or flat out lie because they want you to join their miserable part. Yeah, I actually believe this. I actually fully believe this. I've seen it. I've seen women, actually miserable women who come to me and confess the truth, turn around and tell people how amazing and great their lives is and how great marriage is when they're talking about filing for divorce. Like, I'm not about that life. Y'all play too much.
Misery loves company. That's why married people shouldn't give dating advice at all, because they're just trying to suck you. Wasn't there a man talking about sucking the life out of his woman on that video you did last week, talking to the girl across
I don't know.
And he was like, what's wrong with she said these old
dating old people. What's wrong with letting them suck the life out of you?
Yeah, he said, what's wrong with that? These people are miserable and they want company. That's why we shouldn't take advice from them.
I disagree with Demas' assessments. All right, period. I will drop the link after this because the segment is almost over. And for people who disagrees with me to come up, well, not me, just everyone here, but we are all on the same page essentially. So when you please stay around so you can jump up and we can hear.
You have to say, this is not relationship advice. This is my dating experience.
Brother, I don't really think that. I don't.
This
to your point, and to answer the question before. Do I feel like that there are people that are not qualified to give general advice or
Also, this debating thing is kind of dumb because, like, the women are literally looking for who is attractive. They don't, they don't care about this. So, if Derek Jackson still has a platform, these women don't really care about whether or not you give good advice. If you're a good person, or credible, they don't care at this point. So, just stand up there and they'll judge. Who do you rather? Because at this point, that's kind of what the people are doing.
Well, y'all know that for any gender, like there's a huge market for just telling people what they want to hear. Like, find a group that wants to hear a thing and say that thing enough times, and you'll be, people will agree with you, or you might get some level of success.
Yeah.
So, like, that's just how these things go for a lot of people, and especially in these dating advice, spheres or whatever. Because if you really think about it, how can you give outside of best practice, like communicate, respect your partner, like things like that, outside of like those things that are best practice, how are you giving very specific advice to the general population?
Yeah, no, for me, this is all grifty. I think they're both grifty. The difference is Tony Gaskin can always lean on the Bible and say, this is what I was told to do. If it's attractiveness, then Tony ain't winning. Wait, really? Patty, which one of these men is more attractive? This is so childish.
This is
no, because like Afro Butterfly saying Tony not gonna win hit the other one.
I think they're about the same level of like whatever.
Patty disagrees.
Yeah, we can call them the same level. That's what we can do. Yeah, I understand the idea that people they aren't looking for good advice. They're looking for attractiveness. That's something I suffer from. Always wondering, do people actually want to hear what I have to say? Or am I just a piece of meat for them for them to stare at? I'm sorry, I'm crying. Yeah, I feel like he just gave up his point, Tony, because he was like, okay, well, you can give advice if you're dating. You just have to frame it as, oh, I'm dating and this is my experience. So what are you doing?
It's literally like, is that not the same thing?
It sounds like it. I'm married and this is my perspective as a married man. You have to say, this is your perspective as a dating man. Okay, so we can give advice. You lost. Good night.
Yeah.
The thing that's funny is like some of these like clips that I see of people talking about what people need to do to be wives or need to do to be husbands or whatever the case may be. It's funny because like it'll be like, do this thing, but it's like that thing is not what every person of whatever gender wants. So like, how could you even be claiming to give this advice that's going to work across the board when people are so different? Like, people want different things in their relationships. Again, outside of just the basics like communication.
Yeah, because it's not what people want. From Tony's perspective, this is what you should want biblically. This is what a good relationship is.
I mean, I can understand that if we're talking about like Christians, dating under Christian principles. Like, that's a very specific situation versus dating in general. Because even a lot of Christians aren't dating based on Christian principles if we're just talking about people, day-to-day life and things like that. So I think that he has to be very specific because it's not realistic to assume that everyone is going to be speaking from that same point of view.
What do you mean? Y'all need to answer that poll. We need to get things cleared up. Important things are being discussed. Do y'all think is more honest about marriage, men or women? Personally, I feel like women lie about the quality of their marriage more than men. Yeah, no, women lie. I think women lie more about their marriage. Most men I talk about marriage as if it's a trap.
See, but You know, that's a good question that she asked, because Themis, I've heard that point of view from men.
Wait. To who? The audience matters. So if men are talking to men about marriage and they're saying, I think they're more honest, actually, more generally. All right, go ahead. Sorry. I think men are more honest.
See, but that's the thing. Wouldn't necessarily say that, because I think, stereotypically, men will have like a more negative view, like what you were just saying, Themis, about like being a trap and whatever. Just stereotypically, not saying that this is representative of like everyone
A
or
man
actually
who is
people.
happy and in love and in his marriage is not going to say the marriage is bad. He's not going to do it. A woman who is happy and in love and in a marriage is not going to say the marriage is bad. A man in a bad marriage is going to tell everyone.
See, but that's the thing, though. Just because he's saying that it's bad or whatever doesn't
if he thinks it's bad, it's bad.
But this is my thought behind that. I think a lot of men might complain about marriage, but they would be devastated if their wife left them. They like the things that come along with being married.
It doesn't mean they like the marriage.
I mean, I get that, but like, I think that there's like a whole truth to be told, because if you're sitting here talking about how you don't like marriage, then you shouldn't be that.
Yeah, but when you ask them about it, they will go to the negative. They won't talk about the good thing. So maybe it's a half truth, right? So like they enjoy their spot, but they only complain about the bad thing.
Right.
Women publicly do not generally talk about how bad they feel in a marriage, because it's usually because of society. I think they're told that they failed and it's their responsibility to keep the marriage. So if they're complaining about the marriage publicly, they look bad. So women, in my experience, this is not a research or anything, in my experience, women tend to lie about the quality of their marriage when it's bad. When women are in bad marriages, they tend to lie about how bad the marriage is, and they tend to pretend like it's good. They tend to save face more. Yeah.
Do you think that the societal pressure for men to be like, I don't know, stoic or like not show certain emotions would cause them to lie about the things that they view positively in their marriage, or not acknowledge them?
They don't acknowledge them and they expect them. I think women are honest, especially in all women. Lie, absolutely not. That's where they believe they get judged the most. That is where they believe they get judged the most.
It probably depends on the space. Like, which women are there? Like, I think that in some all women spaces, like where people can be more vulnerable and things like that, you might be able to get more, I guess, truth. But the thing is, just because something is bad or good doesn't indicate that it's quote unquote the truth. Like, I think we have a tendency to think that because someone is complaining that they're being honest, and that when someone is like not complaining, they're lying. And it's like, that's not necessarily the case. I think that both, like, I think men and women are affected by how
No. Nope. That's not the question I'm answering. So let me clarify. I'm talking about being honest about their own experience of their marriage. So men will lie about how bad a marriage is, even when they're getting everything. And from some objective measure, we can say, no, you're lying. This is a good marriage. But I don't care about that. I'm talking about subjective belief. So what I'm describing is what you feel to be what you're experiencing in the marriage. I think women tend to lie more about what they actually believe they're experiencing, where men will be more honest about what they feel they're experiencing.
I see, and I agree with that point. I get that point and I understand it. I think that the part that I'm just like, I guess, trying to get to the bottom of or whatever is that, like, I don't think, okay. So, you know how from a very young age, many boys and just people in general in society are like, oh, if he bothers you, that means he likes you. Or like boys and men are not taught to like really openly honor the girls or women that they like. It's kind of like stigmatized to do that, and you're seen a certain way. You're seen like negatively maybe. So like I think sometimes men feel, and like you said, I'm not trying to say like, man, you know, he's really happy even though he says he's not. I'm not doing that, but I'm saying like I think that same societal pressure affects men. I don't think that men feel like they're going to be like, man, I adore my wife. She does this, this, and this. I like how she's like this, this, and that. Like, I don't think that that's generally how men generally talk about their wives in general. You know, like, so even though they do like the things that their wives bring to the proverbial table. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I think men exaggerate, men lie, but men, I think they talk about how they feel, their experience in the marriage. Women don't do that generally. Women, when they're good, when the marriage is good, they'll talk about it. When the marriage is bad, they tend to pretend like it's good. I've seen it too many times. And I'm not saying all women, I can't generalize, but I mean, the studies about women not talking about their own pain, always being sort of communal, more likely to underreport the time they spent work. When they spend more time work, they report that it's less. This kind of conditioning lends itself to my point, which is that when marriage is bad, to save face, women come out here and pretend like it's good. Women believe marriage is a flex and it's a step up. So if they're flexing on other women, they're not about to come out here and say the marriage is bad. So for me, I believe women are more likely to lie about their experience in marriage when the marriage is bad. Even when they subjectively believe the marriage is bad, like they believe fully that the marriage is bad, they will come out and say it's good. When a man believes a marriage is bad, they'll talk about the bad parts. In my experience and my belief, this is not predicated on any research.
When they think that it's good, do you think they talk about that as loudly?
No, I think they just expect it.
I think that's the part that I'm thinking about, like, because since they're not going to talk about the good part as much, I think it seems like the bad part is more.
Sounds like we should do another poll. Let me see. So, for who would you rather? The 65% of people, up 66, says Tony, and then only 33 said Ace. So apparently, Tony was like way, way more attractive in everyone's mind than Tony, and we shouldn't have done this poll because we made this into a child's game today. But I don't care.
Kind of not fair though, because Ace kind of like was not expecting to be up here today, so he didn't have time to prepare himself. So Tony, on the other hand, was invited. So yeah.
Is there more? Well, I know there's more. Are we watching more of it?
Yes, I'm trying to do another poll. Who is more honest about the quality of a marriage?
I think that's a really good question because like it really has me thinking. I'm not going to say, I wouldn't say one or the other. I think people lie, people tell the truth, you know, regardless of gender. But I would definitely be interested, especially we're opening up the lines, right? Eventually.
Yeah. Oh, let's hurry up so we can open up the lines. Actually.
Yeah, because I would love to hear more perspective on that. Because I think that's a really good question.
And someone said they disagreed with me and our analysis, so I would love to hear that. Who do y'all think is? Oh, we just did that. Thank you, Sin. Oh, this was Sin's question. Period.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Men tell on themselves when they say marriage is bad. Women don't know the truth about their marriage, so they lie. Wait, this is so true. This is exactly how I feel. Women out here talking about, oh, I'm so happy. Meanwhile, you're telling people that you're so happy and everything is great while they know that your man is cheating. Because your man out here embarrassing you. Like Cardi B out here expect us to believe that the marriage is just going great.
So they don't lie about the marriage. So they just lie about how they feel about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm not one to say the marriage is good or bad. I'm saying your belief of your marriage, your experience of your marriage is that it's bad. and you are lying. That's what I'm arguing.
Okay, so you think they're like, my man cheated on me, but he knows where home is.
Yes, but no, she might be mad at him and angry and all of that, but when she comes out, she's willing to save face because the marriage is a flex for them. Women are the main ones promoting marriage to other women despite not benefiting from it. Men regard marriage as a loss of freedom and autonomy, which they're lying to themselves, but yes. Because even when they're married, they don't lose no kind of freedom because they're still out there doing it.
I think that people who don't want to get, like, I don't even know why it's even, people who do not want to get married should not. Like, I don't think anyone should be trying to convince anyone that doesn't want to get married that they should. I think that's strange.
Yeah. When men say the marriage is bad, they are normally I mean, period. Period. Petty, what say you before we go? Quickly, you have 10 seconds.
They lie equally about the quality of the marriage, but not the marriage itself.
No, but do you think who lies more about how they feel about the marriage?
Both.
That's what I think too, both.
No, is that what you said? I thought you said men lie more.
I think men lie and say the marriage is bad while they have someone good at home, and women lie and say the marriage is good as they're telling me about their man going out and cheating on them, and then but should leave, and they're like, no, we're happy.
But if you say the marriage is bad, it feels like there's something that you don't like about the marriage. Because if you don't say the marriage is bad without a question of why, and then you go on to explain something, so at least they can explain why the marriage is bad. When you say the marriage is good and there's a fundamental disruption, i.e. cheating, and you don't actually believe that's the problem.
I think men will describe good things about their marriage and then say it's bad.
Yes. They also describe bad things about their marriage. When you ask someone why something is bad, they generally tell you why they think it's bad.
Okay.
No, both people lie for different reasons, but I don't actually believe people believe what they're saying. I don't believe people believe both men and women lie at the same rate, even if we can quantify this about the quality of their marriage. I think women lie exponentially higher at a higher rate than men about the quality of their marriage, particularly when they have bad marriages.
See, but then that would have to go into like a deeper discussion of their reasoning behind why they think it's still good.
Most women are like mules at home when they work and go home and then work. Like for most women to pretend like their marriage is good, I believe is a lie.
See, but why would you just this is the thing. Why would you automatically believe that they were lying, but not automatically why is it easier to believe that someone's lying?
Because they will, if you press them enough, they'll confess it.
Okay. So do you think that someone has to be lying about being happy if...
Oh, no, I don't believe they're lying about being happy. I think flexing on other people make some people happy.
Okay, so they are happy, but they're married.
They're happy. They're happy they have a man, even if that man is cheating, running amok. They're happy, but they don't think it's a good marriage.
Okay, so then the question isn't about them lying about whether or not they're happy with their marriage. It's a different question.
Yeah, the question I'm answering is whether or not the individual speaking subjectively believe that they have they have a good marriage. Women, when I speak to women who have bad marriages, and I watch them lie about their marriages, it is really annoying because the man will come up and tell you straight up, look, I am here. And I'm sitting there like, okay, period. If she loves it like it, I love it.
Hey, y'all lost me. As soon as you said they're lying about being happy, but not lying about it being good. But the men are lying about it being good, but not being happy. But they lie about the quality, but not about what happens in the marriage. And they don't know they're lying, but they aren't lying about being happy, but they are about the marriage. You lost me at that point.
Yeah, that is exactly. I was going to say something similar, Petty.
Wait, no, who said that?
So
it was a conversation.
The disconnect.
People tell the truth of marriage, period. Go ahead.
The disconnect, because at first the point that I was trying to talk about earlier was whether or not people are lying about being happy. But
All right.
now it's
wait, no. All right, that's what I was answering. Whether or not people are lying about being happy. All right, let's
versus a good marriage versus like checking these boxes for what it means to have a good marriage.
So that's what I'm saying. We're removing the objective standard for marriage, right?
Mhm.
And I say you could be happy in a marriage even if the man is cheating on you.
Okay, so you're saying that even though that's the case, that the person's happy, you're not arguing whether or not they're happy. You're arguing whether or not they're in a good, functional marriage. And if they're willing to acknowledge it.
Yeah, because happy is a state of being. You can be happy. You can literally be happy in a bad marriage. But if you, the question I'm answering fundamentally is, do these people believe that they're in a good marriage? Not if they're happy.
Okay. That makes more sense.
And I think a lot of women believe themselves to be in bad marriages and they're more likely to lie. I think both people, when they're in good marriages, are equally, maybe men more likely to lie about this. But if you believe you're in a good marriage subjectively and you're asked about it, you tend to express how you feel. Like, even if I don't think men generally believe they're in good marriages and people ask them and then they start telling them they're in a bad marriage. No, I don't think that happens generally. But when it comes to bad marriages, men tend to be more honest about how they feel about being in a quote unquote bad marriage by their standard, where women, by their standard, feel like they're in a bad marriage and lie about it to save face. Both of them lie to save face, but I think women are more prone to doing that.
Well, we know the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
I've been approached by way more married men than single ones. Men are more honest, at least, to who they hope will be silent. Well, that's separate. Yeah, men are probably gonna lie about.
And then how is that man more honest if he's going out cheating on his wife? Like, that's not an honest man.
Are we saying honest in terms of how you show up in your answer, in your being, or honest in terms of honesty in terms of what you say?
See, this is the same, like, I guess, principle that I'm kind of struggling with this question in the first place. Because if someone comes to you and says, look, I have a wife, but, we should date, right? I'm cheating on my wife. We're going to date. If someone comes and says that to you,
but that's not the.
I don't think they get point.
I'm trying to cut because I don't think that was the question, though. Like, I think
no, I'm just
about. Weren't we talking about how these individuals who are in the marriage experience the marriage?
Yeah. I was talking to that specific comment that came on the screen.
Yeah. So if men are lying about sleeping around, then that doesn't come. That's not a part of the question.
No, I was just talking about the comment that was on the screen where she said, like, at least men are honest or something like that. And it's like, how is that an honest man if he's cheating on his wife?
Oh yeah, no, that's not an honest man. Yeah.
Yeah, that, like, what? Mm-mm.
Husbands lie to get other women. Wives lie to flex on other women. Right. So even this, for example, is a perfect example of why the way the husband lied does not factor in whether or not he's a liar for the purpose of our question. You get what I'm saying?
Can you repeat that? Because I was reading the comment.
This comment I agree with. And the issue with it is it helps the argument that the subjective experience of a marriage, for the people who are lying about their subjective experience, it would be the woman.
Because one of those is more so about, because in this comment, the wife's lie is more so about like what's going on in their marriage, and the husband's is more so about something on the outside.
He's married. Yeah.
I can get that. That makes sense. I still don't know though. Like, I don't know who lies more.
I mean, to be clear, this is just a thought exercise. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either. I don't think it's because they are trying to flex. I think it's out of embarrassment. Your close friends are going to spill the tea to. Yeah. Well, when I say, yeah, I probably shouldn't be so flippant in saying flex. But I do think a lot of women pull out marriage as a way to flex on other. Like, I am married and my husband, and it's like, oh, your husband is someone's boyfriend. So, like, I feel like married women want single women to be envious of their marriage as if there's a competition when statistically single women are better off. Well, it depends on which demographic, but not only this, this is why it's hard for some women, I believe, to come out and say, my marriage is not that good. It's easier for a man to come out and say, my marriage is not that good, because the burden societally is not on the man to maintain the marriage, which it should be. It's on the woman. So a failure in marriage doesn't operate the same for a man that it operates for a woman. When a marriage breaks down, the man is not stigmatized in the way that the woman is stigmatized. You know what I mean? So there is more burden for the woman to keep up a facade where the man don't really have that burden. Generally, obviously,
Yeah.
culture change and all that. All right, let's continue.
Okay.
Relationship advice to a large percentage of the population. Absolutely. I think that there's people that are not qualified to my metrics. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with somebody getting up here and saying, this is why I think this or I think that. But what I am saying is for us to not acknowledge the diversity in people and thought processes and ways in which relationships and love can work for many different people. That to me is hard to wrap my head around. That's the thing that I want to say. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around. It sounds elitist. It sounds like, you know what I'm saying? And then when you said something, Tony, respectfully, when you said you're working for the other side, brother, that's why a lot of people struggle. Because I think you're implying that the other side is the devil, right? Is that what you're implying?
Meaning you're working for the other side of providing confusion. Because if you have 6 voices on a stage and there's 6 different.
Oh, by the way, the chat seemed to agree with y'all based on the poll. Let me pull up the poll. Only 48% said the wife, and then 47, sorry, says the wife, and then 53 says the husband. So of the people who voted, 53. Wait, no, the question is who is more honest about the quality of marriage. Never mind, husband wins. Never mind, husband wins. I misread the question. So
I'm
the
surprised
chat
it's that
agrees.
close, though.
Huh?
I was surprised that it was that close because I just thought it was going to be, I don't know, one side or the other.
Okay, the chat don't care about me. They don't vote with me. They just be going against me. So whatever. Yeah, Tony Gaskin would be considered elitist insofar as he thinks his way is better and he looks down on everyone else's who is pushing something else. That is his prerogative. Married single mothers are more miserable than single mothers because their husband should be helping, but he's too busy in the streets to care. Well, if you're a married single mother, yeah, you probably got it worse than a divorce, not than a single mother. Because if your husband is there and you have to take care of everything and him, girl, absolutely not.
Messages, people leave more confused than they came. And if the people who we are seeing by the millions are not saying anything worthwhile, but it's a meaningless back and forth conversation that does not bring a solution, that does not help us build families, that does not help us better raise children, that does not help us climb the ladder as a people, as a group who are struggling economically, struggling relationally, struggling in every way. When we provide conversations that only bring confusion and don't bring clarity,
it don't seem like,
I mean by you working
it
for
don't
the
seem,
side.
it don't seem like it really don't seem like, in my opinion, you actually pay much attention to what we got going on over here, brother. And that's respectfully. I'm respectfully saying that. I'm respectfully saying when you can use the adjectives you want to use, and then you don't empty messages. You can use all these adjectives, but just because you're making these blanket statements, that's why I said it's dangerous. It's dangerous when you're making blanket statements without having all the factual information.
Statement. It's not a blanket.
It is a blanket statement. You're making blanket statements, and you're putting people's names in it. You're putting people's names in it.
I'm living this as a husband and a father.
Your truth,
which is successful
for you.
And for our community. It's not just for me. Principles are principles. So,
right, but your principle, you're not the only person with principles.
You're promoting casual sex. You're promoting hookup culture. And then you say, let me ask you this. You having a conversation? You watching me online. You say you appreciate my message. Why haven't you called me to your conversation?
You know what? Why he doing all that? Look, why he doing all that? Now listen. Why he doing? Look, he doing all that. Hold on.
Why didn't you call me to you're having conversation? Why didn't you call me to your conversation? Girl, what? You wanted to be up there with the heathens, the people you think are heathens. You wanted to go talk to you. So, all right, let me calm down. So you wanted to, maybe he wanted to go change their hearts. Let me leave that alone. Any thoughts, or should we just continue?
I was gonna say when he said that these types of marriages is what best benefits, you know, the world and our community and such. I was wondering about that because I'm pretty sure I did look at some research that showed that Christian marriages, maybe Muslim and Jewish or just religious marriages, not sure, but tend to like last longer, tend to end less in divorce, tend to be stronger or something like that. Since I guess if you're religious, you might have values around staying together, a certain type of community that values staying together and not breaking up, and have certain values around family and marriages, etc. But I also wanted to look into something like, for example, would a Christian woman, if her husband is abusing her, would she be more or less likely to report than someone who's atheist? Would she be more or less likely to be in a relationship where she's providing but also doing the majority or all of the housework without saying anything? Like
majority are part of the housework.
Yeah, like suffering. Would she basically put up with more suffering for the sake of the relationship? That's what I was interested in knowing.
Yeah, but great question. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think it would matter either.
Because even if it is true that the Christian women would put up with more because of the pastor, because of the community, because of God, the Bible, all of that, even if that is true, that would not say the Christian, you could not say the Christian relationship and marriage is bad unless you're not coming from a Christian perspective. And
no, that's not, I'm not trying to prove that it's bad. I'm trying to prove that it doesn't really benefit women in any way. That would be my goal in this debate isn't to prove whether or not Christian marriage is bad. It's just to prove that you think women are beneath you and not your equal. And they have a place.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, you could ask that directly and I can answer.
That would be my entire
I believe like people are delusional, honestly, and I don't understand why. Because like the Bible very clearly creates a hierarchy. Now, if you don't want to believe what this hierarchy is, that's on you. But the Christian Bible very clearly provides a hierarchy. And I'm not about to have this debate with anyone again. OMG, I just got here. Happy to catch a live though. I am choosing to not care about that hierarchy because like I'm an a la carte Christian, so it is what it is.
Bringing all the voices. You say you bringing all.
Whoa! You doing all that? You doing all that?
How you not gonna call somebody who got 3.5 million people online and have been in the trenches since 2007, but you bringing all the sides? You ain't bringing all the sides. You ain't bringing all the sides. You bringing the side that you want to bring, and then you trying to take me to task for my words, and you trying to hold me for every word, but you didn't catch that. You just call what you doing a play. I call what I do purpose.
What do you? I don't know what you mean about a play.
You just said I'm so focused on my play.
So my plate, PLATE, plate. This is the last. I messaged you March 10th. Yo, would love to feature you on my podcast. We're shooting April 28th, 29th. Any interest? And then it was like an automatic reply that says you don't receive messages, so I didn't attempt that way again. Well, brother, like,
yeah, bro, I got a website, man. You know how to reach me. I got a website.
Man, I'm 35, brother. We do things a little differently.
I'm 39, bro. Don't act like you at another generation.
So here's the thing. It sounds like we might be seeing TG on the next
tonight's conversation.
That's what it sounds like.
With just him and Ace, by the way. That's enough. That's enough for the stage.
Yeah,
just him and Ace.
You know you can't put this Ace. You know you can't put a brother like this on the stage with anybody that's even halfway single. Now here's the thing. Here's what I want to ask about this.
Listen, I don't mind being single people. What I'm saying is frame the conversation. We can't let it go out as relationship advice. This is a single experience, or this is a hookup experience, or this is I'm divorced and I'm telling you what went wrong in my marriage. But this is going out to the millions as relationship advice. And so what I'm saying is if you send the message of a single man who is having sex with women and dating, if you send that message viral, give the equal pressure and push of the therapist that you say you have on there, or the married person that you say you have on there who is happy and healthy, and do that split test of A and B so that it balances the conversation. Anytime I see something from tonight's conversation, it's on the same side of the line, and it is very confusing. I don't know what I just heard, what the purpose of it was. It's a man arguing at a woman arguing at a man, and there's no solution.
These men need Jesus, but JC said Jesus can't save them. I blame Rock Nation for this. Look, I didn't pause it. I'm not responding to any of this because right now they're not doing anything.
Go
ahead.
They're definitely doing something. When he said you can't give relationship advice, you can only give I'm divorced advice or hookup advice or single advice. I feel like he thought he did something, but I need to know the difference between them, because if I'm divorced and I say my wife divorced me because I never help out around the house, maybe you should help out around the house in your relationship. That sounds like relationship advice. So I need to understand the distinction for him.
Yeah.
And if the only distinction is your relationship status while giving the advice, then I don't care about the distinction.
Yeah, I mean, the position is flawed, right? Like, you cannot win in a debate on your position. Tony Gaskin cannot win in a debate on this position. Let me just put that out there. But if you start off by saying who you are prevents you from ever giving any advice in a realm, you're wrong, right? Because unless the realm is so specific that who you are needs to be a very specific way for you to know anything at all. If you know anything at all, and if you have any experience that is even tangentially related, one could make the argument that you can give advice. Now, relationships it's such a broad thing that even if you are married, your marriage, and I think Kay said this before, your marriage is not identical to someone else's marriage. And so the idea that because you are married, you now have some superpower about how marriages work outside of your own is a problem.
Yep.
Y'all, Tony already won. Y'all slow. Well, I'm gonna drop. Well, here's the link for people who disagree. Y'all can come up because I'm like.
But how did he win? I mean, one could be like, I agree with his perspective, but in terms of like winning, I don't know if that's...
No, you have too much to prove. Your burden to prove is too high.
Yeah.
And you haven't met it. And the only way to meet it meaningfully, is to put him in a Christian framework. That is the only way to meet it. Tony is so far ahead that it is not even worth being around it. All right, well,
he wants to be around it. He was like, why didn't y'all invite me? Why can't I come to these conversations?
They said we have receipts. We did.
So like he wants to be there. So what does that mean?
The link is pinned to the top for anyone who want to come up and because we're going to go into the after show now because we're over time.
It's all sensationalism. And one thing that I know is happening is money is being made, but there's no progress being made. And then a lot of times, if it's progress, we're going to feel it. And so my thing is, I'm not with the confusion and the games. I'm very direct in what I say. I'm very real about what I stand on. And at this stage in our life, especially in the Black race, we need results. We need solutions. We need progression. We need we need healthy families. And I marriage.
I want to respond to that because again,
are you married?
No, I'm not. Again,
so how
hey brother, I don't let you get your long little monologues out, and I just want to respond. What I'm saying to you is, I wish you would say I more when you speak. This is how I feel. This is what I think. This is the path. Because my only issue with what you're saying is you're not including that. Brother, if that works for you, great. But you have to understand the people that come ask questions that are at our shows, they're asking about them having casual sex. They're asking about this heartbreak that they didn't experience. They're asking about how do they find themselves again, how to have self-forgiveness, how to do this, that, other. They're asking about a host of different things, brother. And sometimes I'm the most qualified person to speak to their experience or to give them advice on it. Sometimes it's Kitty. Sometimes it's Trip, the person you said, oddly, never been that guy, but I've known Trip since we were kids and he's always been that guy. My point I'm trying to make is it would probably benefit to do a little bit more homework here. You know what I'm saying? And that's me being respectful. And then when you speak to every clip that you've seen, every 60-second clip that you've seen may speak more about your algorithm than you think. Brother, we post a host of different clips. If you go down our page right now, you'll see 4 or 5 clips on forgiveness. You'll see 4 or 5 clips on motherhood. You'll see 4 or 5 clips on us progressing as Black people in this country. And my point is, even further, if you went to actually watch the episodes, you'll get a further context. Brother, I can't.
Girl, this is like Fresh and Fit talking about finance and fitness, girl. No, absolutely not.
Speak for your algorithm, brother. Yes, we
It's
post
not-
a whole.
You're not on my algorithm. I'm just correcting you. You're not on my algorithm.
Let me
It's my
let me
audience.
finish.
But
Let me
hold
finish.
on.
I'll let you finish your monologues.
No, I
Brother,
just don't want you to put out false things because we do grab.
like you are.
I'm just letting you know that it's not from my algorithm.
Right. So
My
if you
audience.
haven't, so what I'm saying is, if you haven't properly, this is my thing, and I respect your work, and I would love to have you on the panel. I think even coming to a show, you would see how different of an experience than what you think it actually is, how it would be. But what I would say is this: whether it's your algorithm or not, whether it's people sending it to you or not, yes, we post, we host and field a whole bunch of different questions from people from different walks of life and experiences. And so, yes, one question may be quote unquote sensationalized, but that was a real question from an audience member. This question may be like, man, how do I find my confidence again after postpartum depression? And that's a clip that got just as many viral views. This question might be about somebody having casual sex and being flown out. But this question was about a woman saying, you know what, I feel like a single mother, even though I'm married. What do I do? And that clip got 10, 15 million views too. I can't speak to just a few clips that you've seen. And so when you're using that to frame, hold on, excuse me. When you're using that to frame and say,
hey, calm down, though, bro, because you're getting a little too much bass in your voice. So,
hold tight.
Period. And what about it? 1 second. Go ahead. Speak.
As soon as you say calm down, I'm pulling my taser out. I'm gonna have to defend myself because you're getting belligerent. You said calm down. That means your perception of reality is off. You're not in the same world. You're delusional, and you're gonna make me have to defend myself.
Is one of them about to come out with a book or like drop a mixtape or a new podcast of some sort? Because this all seems like one of those things that people do when they're like trying to get more. It's kind of like, well, let me not say that. But yeah, one of those things that people do when they're trying to just get more views, like on both sides, which I understand because that's what content creators do. That's the point. Like, you want people to watch your content. So I'm not against that at all. But whenever these types of things happen, it just seems like, something else might be coming, like, or they want something else to come. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case, but sometimes it seems like that, like when this type of thing happens.
It does seem like Ace is trying to get that cameo. He's definitely like, hey, man, we have a show. You should come on the show. We reached out to you to come on the show. It would be so
right.
if you came on the show. If you came on the show, you would see. He done said that 16 times in the past 30
right.
So I feel like he want him to come on the show.
How you gonna look at a grown man and tell that grown man that they got too much bass in their voice?
And he again, like with the lady earlier that was like the property manager or whatever. I didn't think he was getting disrespectful at all. They were just having a discussion. But again, these types of things draw in views. Like, there's a reason that we're talking about this. There's a reason that we're even bringing this up when we haven't said anything about either of them this whole, year we've been having shows. So like, this was the point of this, to get people talking about it so that people who may not have been familiar with either of them now might be interested, because even us three, we weren't too familiar with either of them. I'm sure there were people in the chat that weren't either, but now because of this, people are going to go check them out. So like,
I just didn't got anything better to do today.
Yeah, but like, if they weren't going back and forth like this, like, it wouldn't even be a conversation. So I just think that these types of things are, meant to bring in more viewers, because it doesn't even seem like a debate at this.
It is a debate. They disagree, but and they're trying to push their point. They're just not very good at it.
Yeah.
The problem that I have, well, not a problem. Actually, this is a good thing. I think more of us need to call each other out, not with ad hominem attacks, but like, this is not the way to do it either. Because like, I don't know what they're talking about now, but it would be nice if people who disagree could sit down more often. Like, I think that would be a nice world.
Themis, lower your voice, please. I feel like you're just loud and belligerent right now. Please calm
Yeah,
down.
I agree with that, Themis, because and the issue, especially sometimes like in the online spaces, some of the online spaces, some people think that just because you disagree, like you hate them or you're trying to, be against them forever. Now that's your arch nemesis. And it's like, that's not how it has to be. And even with this discussion between those two, it seems like Tony is like being defensive for no reason.
I ordered gungo pea soup, oxtail and rice and peas, and aki saltfish dumpling yam, and then a tropical rhythm and 2 maltas. Am I eating it by myself? Absolutely. Yes. I'm eating all of it by myself tonight. I'm getting bigger. Paris, who do you disagree? You have 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Okay, I'm be like on TikTok where they talk for 8 of those seconds and then finally say, "Oh, like for part 2."
Right.
No, but I agree with
No.
the
The question is, who do you disagree with?
Oh, I disagree with Tony. I
No,
disagree with Tony.
no. Which of us do you disagree with? Yeah.
Oh.
Those are the rules.
I feel like you guys have all been talking about different sides of the same thing. So it's hard for me to, because I took a shower at part of this, so I missed some of it. But I feel like the biggest thing is just church membership and stuff has gone down so much that I feel like Tony needs to broaden his span, which is why he wanted to have the tonight's conversations guy.
Yeah, but that's not okay though, because like you can't tell him to broaden his stance when he's like doing this for the glory of God and not for the glory of man.
And you got to think.
But you saw how many times he said talking about making money though,
and wanting to come on his show. Why didn't you invite me?
Yeah.
Ooh,
and then the
Give
same
them gun steamers. Thank you to Wells. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, ultimately, like he's just saying y'all are making money, and you're not doing the Lord's work, and this is not okay.
Well, if the rates at church are going down, I can understand he's grasping for any and everyone.
Okay, we're not going to disrespect the church, so we're going to end that there.
She just said that church membership is declining.
It has gone down. That's a fact.
So if we look at this at like, isn't marriage, sex, relationships declining as well? Less and less people doing things, and then men who tend to benefit from relationships and marriage start like peddling marriage hard and fast towards women. Y'all need to be married. Y'all gonna die alone. It feels like that's what Tony is doing, except about the church.
Let's hurry up and get through this and then come back. So, Paris, you don't disagree with any of us?
I disagree that there has to be specific lanes for each.
Wait, who said that?
I'm not quite sure who said that, but I'm saying that that's what I think. Whichever one aligns with what I'm talking about. Because I can't even remember what all y'all positions was because I was in and
We're
out.
all in agreement, I think.
As far as Tony, I feel like he's more for the marriage. Are you talking about the one where they talking about who lies about marriage? I can tell you that.
Anything that we've talked about.
Okay, so I feel like quality of marriage. I feel like both of them lie, but I feel like for different reasons. Women lie to save face, like Themis was saying. I feel like that's 100% true, and to dunk on other women, kind of like I've been guilty of back in the day saying, well, at least I got a man. It was dusty of me as hell, but I said it previously back in the day and was in a horrible relationship. So I'm guilty of it. Women do that because, again, like Themis said, the pressure's on the woman, no matter if it's not coming from her. And the guy, it has a vested interest of overinflating the difficulty of the marriage for his personal benefit. That's why they get the ball and chain thing. And I feel like we've all been in relationships as women where the guy is saying, oh, you're on my back, or you're nagging, or this and that, when you're trying to improve them, remind them of something that they said they were going to do, and they'll make it seem like they're in the worst situation and like you're doing something that's not cohesive in the relationship. So I feel like they will lie about it being bad to themselves and to others to give them passes to be engaging in bad behavior. I don't find men lying and saying how wonderful their wife is and their wife is trash. That doesn't happen, but it does happen in reverse.
That's like what I was. You said that so much better than what I was trying to.
So
That
you
is the
think
point I was
men? Wait. You think men have good wives and then talk publicly about how bad their wife is when they believe their wife is good?
Yes. And they lie to themselves and pretend like their wife is
No.
bad.
You can't do. They lie to themselves. That's not.
Oh,
That's not an
no. They
option.
definitely lie out in public. That's why they trying to cheat on them all the doggone time.
You a mom though.
They will tell the other women. Everybody has heard guys try to talk to them and be like, oh, I'm going through a divorce. I'm going through a bad marriage, all to find out that's not true. They lie when they're in relationships and swear up and down. Either they're not in a relationship or lie about the nature and everything going on. So the woman will think everything's fine on her end, not knowing that he's lying about the relationship as far as, oh, we just don't get along. We going through. They'll do that type of stuff because they have a vested interest on. They
For
know they
every
have to
man
say
that
that.
does that and the woman find out and the woman lie about it, there's a woman who lies about it. So like it feels like for most of those situations where the man is trash, the woman in the marriage is lying about the marriage.
I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, but if the women know about it, well, I don't know if it's sometimes, but I think for most of those marriages, when the women know or suspect and they feel some kind of way about it, they're lying about the marriage. So it would still put the woman at a higher number in terms of lying, in terms of like general random percentage that's not quantifiable because we don't have numbers.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, what about the women who don't know they're lying? They think everything's fine. And that's more. I feel like women get caught off guard way more than men do. There's been times where a woman's getting married and some random woman pops
You
up.
think women get caught off guard about men cheating than men do for women cheating? You think that?
I think way more. Yes, I do.
You
They do
think?
it more. They
You
do it
think?
more.
Wait, no. You think men are more suspect their women of cheating or find out their women of cheating and they're more sort of figuring that out and know that's happening than the woman kind of already knowing? Because that's what you're saying. Like, it feels like that's not true. I think women tend to know more when their man is cheating than the reverse.
Women are more sneaky about it to a certain extent, but I also feel like similar.
No. You can't say that. People are even in the chat. I think people are kind of, not you, but like people in the chat are kind of triggered. Like, it's kind of fine to disagree with me. Like, not kind of, it's fully fine generally. But here, it's kind of fine. But it's like the way y'all are pushing your narrative seems a bit odd. Women tend to know that the man is cheating more times than the man know that the woman is cheating. What do you guys mean? Like that's kind of known. Like even if women cheat at the same rate, women are better at cheating, I guess, because it tends to be men cheat more in the marriage.
Definitely so, but I feel like that's just a game of statistics more than anything, and that just the normal behaviors in a relationship for men and women, the expectations are so different. Like when you're in a marriage and you're in
Yeah,
a
but then you
quote-unquote
can't make the
traditional
point.
marriage.
Then you can't make the point then to serve that like, oh, women, men are more aware of women cheating. Like that's not a thing. So women lie more about their man cheating. Women lie more about their experiences in marriage being bad. You are saying men lie more about their good experience. It's hard to accept that because the men who have good experience in marriage tend to not like people. Human psychology isn't such that like they believe something is good and they just come out and say it's bad. Like that's not how human psychology works. So even if the man by some objective measure have a good marriage, that man speaking poorly about his marriage, it's likely the case that he doesn't believe he's in a good marriage or have a good marriage.
Now I'm starting to think there are like some confounding variables because now it sounds like, are we talking about like the rate that people lie at or like the actual number? Because if we're looking at the question, okay, who's more likely to be a terrible partner, a man or a woman? Then like after that question is answered and we're talking about like heterosexual couples, then that would influence like what the answer is going to be in terms of if we're talking about like the rate at which people lie or like the number.
The number is going to inform the rate. So in the context of doing all marriages, the rate and number would be like the. I'm not saying like the rate the number informs the rate. So like it wouldn't make a big difference because we're saying in all marriages in the United States, who is more likely to
But
to
is
lie?
it because the likelihood of lying, or is it because there are just more, just for the sake of argument, there are just more men who aren't good partners. So then therefore
Yeah, no, that's the point. There are more men who are not good partners, but the women are more likely to lie about the man not being a good partner. As soon as you stop being a good partner, the man go and tell. He's not going to go tell,
I
but
agree
he's
with
more
that.
likely to tell the truth.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say too. When you were wording it that way, and also when
No, but that's the
Kay
point. Like,
said
this
it.
is what I don't like. The wording, and it's the same thing. Oh my God, my Discord, sorry. It's the same thing with the Discord where, like, I'll say something about self esteem. I'll say, what, because it doesn't sound like it's like the kindest or sweetest or paint women in a good light, people are mad. It's not like it's fine. I believe, and it's not provable. I believe that women lie more about their experiences being good in marriages. I believe that men and women are kind of equal when it comes to good marriage, where men kind of maybe exaggerate the bad parts of a good marriage when they talk about it because of social conditioning. It is similarly because of social conditioning that women will lie more about being in a good marriage when it's not good.
I agree with that. I also feel like the different variables that would make it quote unquote good or bad are not subjective, but it tends to be off balance because how men show up in a relationship, if they're socialized in this patriarchal society and it's taken hold,
See, wait,
they
sorry.
tend to
See,
often have bad behaviors in the relationship anyways, that they are not showing up fully to make it a viable cohesive relationship
oh yeah,
unless
no, yeah, I would blame them too. Like I'm not talking about why the marriage is bad because then we go to the man generally.
Right.
But like someone is saying like, so they both lie. No, they both lie. That's not the question. I say women lie more.
And they lie because of certain different reasons, but they still, I think, yes, women will cover up for their man more when it comes to giving the real offer on how the relationship is going. That is true.
Thank
They
you.
cover up a lot of
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, women tend to cover up for the man more, whereas the man is not about to cover up for the woman generally.
And it's, yeah, for real. And I think it's mostly because of, like you said, societal pressures and it being a reflection on the woman, no matter what the man does. Even if a man cheats, there's this expectation that a woman is supposed to give him another chance or stick beside him and all of that. Where the societal expectations of a woman cheats, the guy has free reign to just be like, yeah, forget it. Nope, it's over. And everybody gives him a pass or understands that if he deems that unforgivable, it's just the nature of how things are. And in reverse, they're more prone to tell women you're supposed to tolerate more because of socialization, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, same way men compete lie about struggle growing, right? Um, your girl is believe men in 2023. You girl is believe men in 2023. I don't know why. Women lie more because they use marriage to flex on single women. Men do not see marriage as a flex, therefore they are more honest about it. Yes, thank you. That's actually a really good way. I think another reason around why I believe what I believe. Again, y'all can believe what you want to believe, but like if you're gonna come up and debate it, please make a like an argument about it. Like, don't just say it. Like just say they both lie. I agree. We're human beings. We all lie. Thank you, Paris.
Thank you, guys.
I mean, the point about like if women are lying to flex on single women versus if they're lying to save face or like not look stupid or whatever, you
I
know,
think they're one in the same where there's certain kind of degrees, but yeah.
but isn't one more like about you versus, I mean, one is about like protecting your own image versus the other one is about making someone else feel bad?
Yes. Yeah. But I think
So,
they're the different side of the same coin.
yeah, I can see that. I guess I just don't know why like the narrative sometimes, and let me not say narrative because I don't know how widespread, but the idea is sometimes that women are lying to flex on single women. Like, is
Oh,
that like
because
the
women tend to jump up and just be like, "Oh my God, I'm married. At least I'm married. Do you? Are you married?" Like it's that thing on social media. I don't know how widespread this is actually, and I don't know if most married women do it. But like a lot of married women tend to rub it in, or like even in like random conversations, like, "Oh, I can't say this. I don't want the person to know that I'm talking about them because they're definitely watching." Um, people will just be talking about anything, and they're like, well, at least my husband is going to do this. And it's like, girl, nobody asked you about your husband. And they'll just find ways to put it in conversations where, like, they're single women and we're just talking about something. So, like, if I'm talking to a bunch of women and they're single, there's one married one, always this one. You gonna know who you are. It's fine. Come up and just start saying something about their husband, where like no one is talking about a husband. This is not like this. Literally has nothing to do with marriage or husband or anything, and they just find ways to put it in, and it doesn't bother me. It didn't bother me, but like it, I started noticing it, and it seemed to be like a direct attack at the women around me. Like it seemed to be like, at least I got a man. Or like we'll talk about something and they'll say, "Oh, it doesn't seem like you understand what's happening here." And they'll just randomly add their husband into a conversation, just like randomly. Like I can't give an example because I don't want people to know who I'm talking, but it's like we'll just be talking about a random thing and they'll just drop their husband in there. And I'm like, girl. But I
you
don't know
know,
how widespread that is. I don't know how widespread that is.
I think that for things, because I've heard people give similar and this is terrible, but like I've heard people say like that people with kids are always talking about their kids. You know, like since someone had a kid, now they're talking.
Yeah,
Like
I
I think
think
that when someone's married or someone has a kid or someone
no.
works
No.
a
There's
lot, like
difference.
they talk about the thing a lot.
There is a difference of being proud and talking about that which you're proud of, right? But I know it is about flexing specifically in this case because it's usually after something bad. Like if she lose a debate, if she is wrong about something, if I am praising one of the women in there, it only happens at very specific time where it's time to like address her ego. Like whenever
Okay.
her ego is attacked, she drops her husband in, and then people drag her husband about him being nothing.
Okay,
Sorry.
so like in that specific situation, if you can read it like that way because of the context that it's being done in, that makes sense. Definitely, you know, because you
Yeah,
can
most of the
discern that.
people who have really good marriages, in my opinion, don't ever bring it up. Ever. They don't like even when we're out for brunch, for example, and people are like, "Oh my God, marriage, blah blah blah," and they'll ask her, "Hey, how do you maintain a marriage for 10 years and you've been just like you guys have been married since blah blah blah," and she'll be like, "I don't know, we fight a lot, we argue a lot," and like I don't know, like she seemed more, I don't know. Then people be flexing. It is what it is. And I'm not about to pretend like, in my personal anecdotal experience, a lot of married women tend to flex on single women.
Hmm.
All right. Penelope, who do you disagree with?
I'm not sure yet. I have a question. Do y'all think that lying out of delusion is dishonest?
Hmm. It depends. When you say delusion, are you saying you don't know?
Yes, or you've been primed or groomed or conditioned or educated in a misleading manner.
I don't know how to answer that fully, but if you believe, my answer about who lies is about if you believe subjectively that it's bad or good, and you lie that it's bad or good. So you have to believe that it's bad.
Wait, sorry, could you reiterate that? I apologize.
Delusion complicates it because what I'm answering is specifically the question of, do you believe it's bad or good? And if you believe it's bad or good and say the opposite, that's a lie. But if you're deluded,
Got it.
it's harder to answer that question.
Okay. Yeah, I think that a lot of the answer lies in what we're conditioned to think is good or bad. So there's a lot of things that I've grown up thinking were good or in my favor that as an adult I can now see clearly that maybe I would have lied about out of ego and delusion that I wouldn't lie about now. Does that make sense?
I think that was a good question. It complicates it, and I don't actually know the answer. I mean, I don't. It's not like I know the answer before. I don't have an opinion on, like, if you're deluded and you think, "Oh my God, it's a good marriage because that's what marriages is," then like you're not lying if you say it's a good marriage. You know what I mean? Like it would be hard to say you're lying.
So I mean, we've all grown up on Disney movies. I think it's harder to say that women are being dishonest about.
Oh, absolutely not. Nope. Nope.
No?
I think they're lying. Nope. I think they're lying. I think they know it's bad. When you're crying yourself to sleep about your husband on his work trip, and then you're coming out here telling people that it's a great marriage and you're so in love and blah, 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 I don't believe you. But yeah. I mean, I could be wrong. They could actually, that could be a thing they do and then really be in love and not really thinking it's bad. So I don't know.
Or not, or thinking that it's the lesser of, several evils, right?
Yes. I think they're lying, but yeah, I'm gonna call it lying, and people don't like me saying they're lying, so I'm just gonna keep saying they're lying.
Okay. Yeah. I guess, my heart goes out to anybody who thought, and now they have to just live with the fact that they thought. And, I think what folks have talked about, a reckoning, I think that's a real thing. I think people waking up is different than them changing their minds, maybe.
Yeah. No, I do agree.
So it's like the mens rea wasn't there.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what. Okay, so if you didn't know, it's like, okay, you weren't lying. But if you knew, and you're saying no, you knew.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm being flippant, right? But yeah.
Oh, mens rea. I remember that one from Legally Blonde. Mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
The requisite mindset. Remember, being married meant you had a wife, so I can see why it was a flex, because that meant access to wealth. I do not understand the flex the dust. I mean, people say at least you got a man. So like I think it's about how they view marriage. Men don't use marriage to flex on single men because they don't see it as a positive thing. Women see marriage as a badge of honor, so they use it to flex on single women like they're better. And so, okay, yes, right? And I feel like the bad marriages and people lying about the bad marriages women is so much greater than the good marriages where men lie about the good marriages. Because I think we would agree that men probably are more honest about bad marriages and women are less honest about bad marriages. But the good marriages, you are saying men are more willing to lie about the good marriages, where the women are more honest about the good marriages, right? No. Right?
Are you asking me?
I was asking Kay.
Oh, I thought you were asking her.
Y'all are saying that for good marriages, men are more likely to lie.
Again, like I said earlier, I don't know who's more likely. I just know that, like,
no, you have to. Well, you think women or men are more likely to lie about bad marriages?
To lie about a bad marriage and say that it's good,
Yeah.
I think women are more likely to do that.
All right. So if you believe that, then when for you we say good marriage, if you say they're both willing to lie and you're trying to make it equalize, then you would agree then that women are more likely to lie. So you have to believe that for the good marriages, that men are more likely to lie, that the good marriages aren't that good.
I could say that. Yeah, I would say that.
If that is the case, do you think there are more men lying about good marriages or more women lying about bad marriages?
I think okay, yeah, this is a better, I think, way to look at it, because this is what I was asking about earlier when I was saying like the rate or like the likelihood versus the actual number, and you were like it's kind of the same thing. Because then it would be down to is a woman more likely to have a bad male partner, or is a man more likely to have a bad female partner? So like that is what would influence the answer. And
Yeah,
I
because
wasn't
if
looking
the
at it
men
that
are
way at first. I wasn't looking at it that way at first. I was looking at it like in a vacuum, like everything is the same. Who's gonna be more likely to lie? And I'm just like, I don't know. But I would say that just in terms of like division of labor and like all these different things that have been researched, that a woman is more likely to be unhappy with certain things not happening within a marriage.
Yeah, and therefore they're probably the most likely to lie.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't think they're lying for long though. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't think they're lying for long though, because they're also the most likely to divorce.
Period.
And men are more likely to die within like still married.
Oh, because it can be a bad marriage from their perspective while they still benefit.
Right, which to me feels like that's a whole lie.
No, it's not a lie. And that's the difference. One is a subjective belief, and then one is like a reasonable person standard, right? Would a reasonable person believe this marriage is good or bad? Well, we don't care because the reasonable person isn't in the marriage. The people experiencing the marriage is what we're doing it with. Thank you, Sin. This was good. All right. Many black women don't believe their marriage is bad unless they're being physically abused. Oh, this part too. Someone was like, "Stop saying men don't lie," and I'm confused. Like, no, that's mean. It feels like people are so triggered. Like, I don't understand how you could hear anything that I said and came to the conclusion that I said men don't lie. like when like I'm so confused as to where you got that. Anyway, thank you so much, Penelope. I'm gonna let you say your final words and then go into the after show so we can all close. Men in Silicon Valley flex when they take a top tier woman off her game and make her stay at home wife. Men flex, but for different. Yeah, I agree. I think it was a general statement about society and marriage, where women are taught to go get a marriage, where men are taught to kind of run from it. And funny enough, they're the ones who benefit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you. Penelope, final words and then after show.
Oh, no, I mean, I think I agree with you. I think I have to think a little bit more about the piece about reasonable person standard versus a subjective approach to it. But yeah, maybe there's some data that will make it
Probably not.
more clear. I don't know.
Probably not. I feel like, again, I could be wrong, and maybe because feel like I have a bigger voice. I don't know why, but like, anyway, I do know why. But I don't want it to seem like my answer is correct. I just believe it based on how I explain it, but you can completely believe something different. So yeah. Thank you, Penelope.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, let's go into the after show and we'll have Petty disagree with me because that's all he knows how to do. Close your ears, everyone.
We didn't do that already?
What? No.
The after show thing? Really? I don't know why I thought we did.
You're like, we've been on here too long.
No, I don't know why I thought that. I thought we were in the after show. Maybe not.
I mean, we should have been. Petty, go ahead. Tell us what you need to tell us now.
Y'all tuckered me out. I'm not gonna lie.
What is that glasses? I didn't even notice the bridge.
I made them.
No, you didn't. Tell us what is your opinion on what we were talking about?
I don't care who's lying more. I don't care at all.
You don't have an opinion?
Nope.
All right, give us a closing speech. I'm kidding.
Instead of a closing speech, let's have a closing meme. That's what I feel like we should do.
Are you putting one up or? Oh.
Gentlemen, welcome to How Many Cats Can Hold Me? One cat.
I don't like it.
Why did you?
You okay? What a statement.
I don't like it. Because is that the same man that does that all the time?
I don't know.
Or was he making fun of that man? Because I've seen the man who's like, how many whatever can hold me? And he puts them up there on the pull-up bar. But I didn't like that one at all.
I have a meme, but I'm not going to play it. Because like I tried not to laugh and I sent it to the group. And it was from the whatever podcast. And I'm not going to play it. Don't leave. I'm going to play it behind the scenes because I know y'all didn't watch it. But like, I'm going to play it for y'all behind the scenes because I was so annoyed because I didn't want to laugh, but it was too late. It was too late. I failed. So, any final thoughts, Kay?
No.
All right. Oh, all right. Thank you all for coming. Petty needs to go to.
Could I take 5 seconds to think of a last thought? Just 5 seconds exactly.
Yeah, Petty.
Okay. Did you buy that prop just to do this? Did you? Oh my God.
What makes you think that? After my 5 seconds of contemplating, I think that everyone should leave a like on the video because it helps. And it's
Let me check the likes because we will not leave here if we don't have enough likes. Let me stop. As if that's punishing anyone. We have 595 likes. All right, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
We're almost at 600. We can at least get to 600.
5 more.
Let me see. Oh, we had 601. Oh, period. Look at y'all. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye.
Bye.
Don't leave. I need to show y'all something.